not rich, and these aren't my cars, which makes being a YouTuber kind of difficult. You see, every car YouTuber nowadays has a supercar, and it feels like you need one to compete. And I simply can't afford one. Or at least, that's what I thought. Until I got a DM from a stranger offering me a supercar I'd always wanted at a price that didn't seem real. Now I know you, like me, love a good bargain. But finding a supercar for a low price is something that rarely happens. And the price he was offering felt too good to be true. And we were about to find out why that was. All right, in the DM, Mikey, the guy who DM'd me, gave me a phone number. I'm assuming it's his, I hope it's his. So I'm gonna call and see if we can learn more about this car. And I thought we'd just put it on video. All right, I guess I'm gonna call. Okay, it's ringing.
Hello.
Hey Mikey, this is Jackson from Captain Crankshaft.
What's up, dude? Assuming you're calling about the car.
Yeah, so what do you know about the car? Does it run? Does it drive at all? Like, just give me the rundown. Like, why is it even there?
Honestly, man, I have no idea. It's one of my dad's old cars, but we run a body shop here in New York, which is always super busy, and that means his cars end up sitting for ages. It's literally been here for years. All I know is that it exists, and we want to clear out some space. I'm actually not even sure which garage we're storing it in.
Ooh, well that sounds perfect, man.
When he said he wanted to sell it quickly, I knew it would make for some good content for you guys.
Yeah, it sounds like it will be. I've actually always wanted one of these, so your message definitely made me curious.
Yeah, I know you guys are in Boston, so maybe come down to New York, check out the body shop, which I think you'll like.
Yeah, let me check my schedule and I'll circle back. I think that'll work. I'll just shoot you a text, assuming this is your cell.
This is my cell, so just shoot me a text.
Okay, bye. I don't know what to do. Should we go to New York? You're not mic'd up, but should we go?
Yeah.
You think we should?
I want it.
Okay, so we officially know still nothing about the car. Mikey doesn't seem to know much. I guess it's just been sitting. It's his dad's old car. He has a lot of cars. I have no idea what's going on.
Let's go to New York.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I guess the next thing to do is go to New York. All right, bags are packed. Car is ready to go. It's early, but we're headed to New York to see a car we know nothing about. Seems like a great decision. It's kind of a long drive. We're in Boston, gotta go all the way to New York, but we've got the trusty S4 with a manual, Will's lovely ride.
The old daily driver, it'll get us there, no problem, in comfort and style.
How do you feel about going to see a car that we know nothing about and could be totally broken, and it's probably a bad financial decision anyway?
I feel like everything that you just said is completely accurate, and I'm very nervous, but I'm also very excited. Love these cars today, so we'll see what happens.
I think you're gonna like it. Well, actually I have no idea if you're gonna like it because I have no idea if I'm gonna like it. So hopefully you're gonna like it. While we're in the car, I gotta call my bank and see if they'll give me money.
They might.
Please? All right, well, this is what my view's gonna look like for a while.
Always buckle in, kids.
All right, time to go look at a car.
Let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road. This is one of the more interesting adventures I've gone on. But sometimes in life you gotta take a little risk. We're off to a really good start here. Will's car just gave us the oil light. Literally like 10 minutes in, he just did an oil change, which means there has to be a leak somewhere or something's gone wrong. So Will is in the auto zone back there getting some oil. Yeah, well, maybe this is a sign that we shouldn't buy this car. I don't know, but not the best start, I would say. Here he is, the man with no oil. But now he has some. Chug, chug, chug.
Clearing off oil challenge.
Oh my God.
There's no thing on it.
The little ones don't have that.
Yeah,
Well, he's still an idiot. Old Audi with oil. Just how the Audi wants it to be. We're gonna have to figure out where it's leaking later. if it is leaking. It might just be burning oil, but something isn't right. So we're gonna have to check that out. But this should hold us over for at least the time being. We might need to get some more soon. Let's hope that works. But New York, here we come. All right, Will's getting some food. I'm about to call my bank. We'll see if they'll give me a loan. I probably won't do it over the phone, but it's worth a shot.
Hi, this is Alex. Credit Union. How can I help you?
Hey Alex, I'm looking to get a loan on a used car.
Okay, what year, make, and model is your car?
It's a...
Okay. So we can't do a loan application over the phone, but I can email you over and to let you know if it's approved or denied. If you get denied, you can reapply in 14 days.
Okay. That works for me, yeah.
So what's the best email I can get for you?
Yeah, so it's...
Okay, Jackson. I got that.
Awesome, and then I'll fill out the loan application from there, and then I'll get approved or denied, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I got your email. Let me just clarify with you 1 sec. And that's
the right email. All right, I'll fill that out now.
great. I will get that sent over now. Then I'll let you know.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Okay, so I'll know about the loan application in like the next hour.
Oh yeah. You'll let you know, and then if you're approved, we'll let you know, and if you're denied, you can reapply.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Jackson.
What?
Will okay, just got back with a sandwich. So I can apply. He's gonna send me an application. I can apply, and then we'll know in about an hour after the application is sent on average if we get accepted or denied. So we shall see.
While Will is driving, I quickly filled out the loan application. Now, all we have to do is wait.
One eternity later.
It's been approved, baby! At an incredibly high interest rate. So please subscribe and like this video.
Wow. So we're maybe buying it, maybe?
Yeah, well, I've been approved. I don't have to accept the loan yet.
And your credit score has been impacted.
My credit score is usually impacted. Don't make the same financial decisions that I make. It's for the YouTube channel. And now we just need to see the car before I give them the money. Usually that's the best practice. Don't give them the money before you see the car. Oh my gosh. All right, see you soon. Here we come, New York. All right, we've made it all the way from Boston to New York. We're standing here in front of this, I hope this is the right place, but I've been told to meet here. I don't know where exactly we are. I know the shop is around the corner, but I'm just waiting for Mikey now. Mikey. Hello. I would say this is the first time we're meeting, but we actually met a second ago. I had to mic him up for this. But Mikey, explain to us the situation. What's going on here?
So over the course of 40 years, my dad has collected some interesting toys.
Nice.
I think you guys might be interested in one of them, and I actually have no idea where it is. It might be behind this door. So would you guys be cool if we like looked together? Or
Yeah, I'm down. We've driven for a mystery.
Yeah, just be careful. There's lots to trip over. Somewhere.
Oh, is it this?
No.
Is this your dad's toy barn?
This is the toy barn.
This is crazy. It should be that. I don't think we can afford that yet.
It's not that. Where is this car?
There's just full of, I love a secret garage.
I think it was here, but we might have to check. There's another spot we can check.
What is that?
Which one?
Either of them.
Special projects.
That's fire.
Yeah, this is a Beetle that we somehow years ago fitted with Porsche Boxster lights. And I guess it was so ugly that even the customer abandoned it. Or you can take the Model T.
This was a supercar?
At the time, I guess.
A car.
That's nice.
Let's check
All
the
right.
other garage.
Mikey's taking us to another parking garage. You guys have a lot of stuff.
Fortunately and unfortunately, we have way too much going on.
You guys run like, I've just learned this, but this is one of the most ridiculous body shop operations I'm now realizing. You guys have so much space, so many cars, and you do, from what you were just explaining, you guys do pretty much everything.
Yeah, so like right now, we probably have a mind-numbing 200 cars at the shop, which is insane.
So it is an operation to find your dad's vehicles.
Yeah, So this is one of the places we keep some cars.
Is it this? I wish it was
Getting
this.
warmer, but no, not quite.
This is a little
quite.
too nice for us.
I literally have no idea where this car is.
Now I'm just exploring.
I'm also starting to get genuinely concerned that maybe it's gone.
Somebody, yeah.
It should be here.
Your dad heard you might be trying to get rid of it.
And then maybe he hit it. I don't know.
He hid it from you. He didn't want it.
Hoarding.
Very good at hoarding.
We have one more spot after this that it might be in, but I'm not too hopeful about that.
Yeah, you guys do have some space.
That? Nah, I wish. You have to understand that if it was that, it would be mine. I would never give it to you.
On to the next spot. Mikey is keeping stuff
sorry,
in a
guys.
lot of places. It's not really your fault, actually.
You have to do a little tour of the place.
So you guys do literally, like in terms of bodywork, you do everything.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber repair.
Yep.
Painting.
Metal
like
work.
Paintless dent removal.
If you can dream it, we can do it. How about that?
That's crazy.
We can tint stuff. We can wire stuff. See what we got.
All right. This feels like the spot.
There it is.
Oh.
There it is.
Where?
Yeah, what? I forgot we put it down here. Oh snap! I'm so excited. That? Wait, hold on. You guys are gonna love this. All right.
All right.
The big reveal.
Oh no.
That looks correct-ish.
Ta-da!
Yay! The probably most beat V8 Vantage there ever was. It looks all right.
Listen, it's
Wait, we need to get it.
perfect.
I feel like we should be doing some grand reveal, but I think for this car, this is exactly what it deserves.
Oh, there's a good. There's a battery.
Battery here. Go. Listen, it's got red calipers.
Yeah. Oh, it's fast.
That's great. That's great.
Oh my gosh. Let's get this all the way off.
That's it.
Gonna boom this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The windows are down.
There we go.
That's good for stuff.
There shouldn't be any mold in there.
There's a lack of door cards. I love when the squirrels start to make homes in there. That's perfect. Wow. Well, this is the cheapest V8 Vantage Aston Martin in the entire country, and
I love it.
I love it. Let's just quickly, I'm just spotting some things. There's a plastic bag tied to the wheel. That's cool. We've got the headlight removal. That's for speed, I'm pretty sure. We've got the mismatch. That's good. There's a lack of front bumper.
Again, all weight saving.
All weight savings.
Thinking about this all wrong.
We've got some parts in the passenger seat.
We've got the O.
The automatic. It is an automatic, that's true.
I think,
Oh, we've got no tail lights. I don't think you need tail lights.
not in New York.
Not in New York, that's true.
I think we have some of these parts.
Let's try starting it with no, I'm assuming you have a jump pack in your
Pop the
shop.
hood, I'll grab the key.
Okay, yeah. The keys have been retrieved. Also missing badges.
There's no badges in this car.
We're badgeless. That's
didn't
because
even know
Aston
that.
Martin was so ashamed of how it looked, they came and personally ripped all the badges off of
Dumped
it.
it up.
Oh, yeah. And look at this key, by the way. That is the goofiest looking key.
It's like a Tetris block.
There you go.
Guys, we're learning so much together.
Oh, something
I
happened.
think I heard the fuel pump turning on.
Would you like to do the honors?
Well, let's pop the trunk real quick. Oh, the mirrors.
Oh, hey.
That's a good sign. Something's ticking aggressively inside.
That's a good sound. That's a good sound.
Oh,
It's opening?
yeah.
Oh, nice. What do we got in there?
Oh, a headlight.
No way.
There we go.
Thousands of dollars saved.
If it works.
That's very true.
There might be a reason why it's here and not there. There's also some door cards, some a computer. An Aston Martin 12-volt.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
That's got to be worth something.
You guys
I don't.
This is like a treasure hunt. Ah.
What else we got?
We got the
Headlight.
navigation system for North America. Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We're missing a disc. I'm assuming it's in there. We'll close this for now. We'll come back to this chamber of secrets later.
Fingies. Good.
Fingies watched.
All right. Come on. Get this tarp out of here so nothing explodes.
Lights are on. Are you ready?
Yeah. All right, so it doesn't. Maybe it needs to charge more. All right, so it might need a battery. That's probably only.
Should we try to hook it up to the main line back here?
a few $100. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Why did we pick today to do this?
I know.
It's 1,000 degrees.
All right, we have the battery hooked up directly. You want to get behind the car? All right, ready?
Fire her up. Let's go!
There we go. Woo!
Did not think that was gonna happen.
Is there any smoke?
No smoke back here.
That's crazy.
Should we let it warm up or should we give it a rip?
We should probably let it warm up. We can't afford a new engine.
That's not fun.
I can't believe that started.
Can't either.
It's idling fine.
How did it turn on? And it's only got
Oh, it's
like
good though. Let me just get some of this. Here.
lights on the dash.
How many arrow lights are we looking at over there, Jack?
I'm just running captain. I ran out of room for crankshaft.
That's fine.
Got to crank.
the piano black.
It's all right. We've got a tire fault system. Check tires. I guess that makes sense. Alarm system service required. Bulb failure, multiple bulbs. Emission system service required. SRS airbag service urgent. Passenger door open. That one we can fix.
Let's do one of those right now.
Oh, there's a cord in the door.
Okay, and close.
That one's gone.
One step at a time. It's not that bad.
Things are working here.
I actually am very surprised.
And the Alcantara, it looks in good shape. I don't smell water.
The tarp really worked.
I love how the person selling us the car is surprised at how nice.
Yeah, wait, that seems, we're both figuring this out together. Like, no, it's
Let's
pretty
see.
good.
All right, guys.
I still have the keys. Mikey went inside, but we do have the ability to move it now. He moved a few cars for us. So we're gonna test if this thing moves before we buy it. I almost thought it before we knew if it moved. We know it starts. Well, let's double check if it starts.
Will it go into gear is a very valid question considering it is a Sport Shift 1 car, which if you guys know about Astons, you know, kind of sucks. So we'll see what happens here. All right, start her up. Aha!
Like my ride?
All right, you know how to put it in drive?
Yes, sir.
And put down the handbrake. This thing is British, so it makes no sense. The drive is a button over there, and it's got one of those weird left side handbrakes you gotta pop down.
Okay, drive.
Pull it out, sir. Oh my Lord.
It moves. It hasn't moved in a while, it feels like.
Wow.
Does it naturally feel like there's some slippage?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, it feels like it's really struggling.
Yeah, the clutch feels like it's slipping a lot.
Not ideal.
No.
Why does it feel like it's slipping so bad? It does move. It just doesn't like it. That smells terrible.
This is the worst spot to do a test drive.
Holy. Don't worry, we're in the whip. You can't see our headlights or we have no turn signals. Well, it works. That's great news.
That is probably the most anticlimactic first drive of someone's new supercar ever.
Yeah, most supercar owners would probably go take their car out for a rip ski. We can't. I'm also burning up.
Also, like the clutch is slipping, which on this car is very expensive, like very, very expensive and a pain. This car, I don't know how much you guys know, but did a little bit of research before, you know, as one does, and it has a transaxle, which means the transmission's in the back. There's a big tube that goes from the engine, which is in the front in this thing, unlike our 911, and
You need to take the tube out.
you need to take the tube,
transmission.
which, you know, not a huge deal, but it's a lot of work, and the clutch failing on these is definitely a pretty common problem, especially in the ones with the automatic. If you guys also haven't done your research on these, which I don't blame you, they're pretty weird. It has like a automated manual transmission, kind of like Ferrari's F1 transmission, Lamborghini's E-Gear. So it's like a manual transmission that you pull a paddle and it shifts for you. So there's like a regular clutch in there. And it's basically like having someone that's not great at driving manual for you all the time, which means the clutches go bad fast.
Yeah. But we do want to buy this car. I want to buy this car very bad. But I need to figure out the price.
and I need to figure out the price with the thought in mind that it probably needs a new clutch. So
And then figure out how to get it and do it.
Again, this is the bank's money that we're using. So I'm gonna just repeat this part, but you gotta like and watch the video and send it to someone you know, because if these go badly, the bank's gonna come for us. We need these videos to do well.
We can't afford this car really, and we definitely can't afford all the parts. So make sure you, enjoy it.
Entertain it.
Yeah.
I'm making a terrible financial decision because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Don't do it yourself. Always something.
Yeah. This is very stressful, guys. This is very stressful. This is stressful.
All right, we are leaving the shop. And no, we haven't purchased the car yet, but that doesn't mean we're not purchasing the car. We gave the guys an offer. We figured out the car definitely needs a new clutch, which is funny because when I asked a few people if I should buy this car, one person in particular, you might have heard of him, Tavarish, who is a good friend of ours, he said, be careful of the clutches. he also then said, the clutch is really annoying to do. So what are we gonna do? We offered to buy a car with a broken clutch. Now, it's obviously none of the guys' fault at the shop. That car's just been sitting forever and the clutch is a common failure point, but it does need to be addressed. So now we are going to wait. We offered them the money. We're gonna see if they accept. They need time to think about it because, to be honest, this would probably be one of the cheapest Aston Martins for sale at that price in the entire country.
I think it would probably be one of the cheapest Aston Martin Vantages ever sold.
We're gonna see, it has way more than the clutch. It needs a lot more than the clutch, but the clutch is a bit more than we bargained for.
You can't drive it without the clutch. It's a big problem.
But if we buy it, there's a lot of work cut out for us. So make sure you subscribe. You're gonna wanna see us struggle. We have no idea what we're doing. We've had the 911 as a project. That was a lot more straightforward than this. This car is a literal barn find. It has tons of panels missing. We don't even know the full story of this car. We don't know if there's other stuff besides the clutch. That's just the most obvious besides all the body work. But it'll be fun. So let's see what they say. I'm hoping they say yes. Will's dropping stuff. I'm hoping they say yes. And we will talk to you when they do. If they do. I don't know.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
The next day.
It's the next day. We're here in the shop, and we've agreed on a price. So we have just purchased ourselves the cheapest Aston Martin in the entire world.
It's yours now. It's yours.
It's a real beaut. We have paid $25,000, and now there is a ton of work to be done. Luckily, Michael and his lovely shop. Look at this place.
Hi.
It's expansive. They're gonna help us with a lot of work that we need to do because they know a lot more about body stuff than we do, and this needs a lot of that. So now I guess the only thing to do is do it.
It's a lot
There's a lot to do.
A lot of doing
This is the biggest project that we've ever taken on. This is my new supercar. Well, new to me. Let me give you a quick tour. First off, there's no door handle. That's a different problem that we need to address. But if you look at the paint, it's bad. Come look at this, particularly. Very bad. There's also a lot of scratches. This car has not been cleaned in 15 years and it's been sitting in the garage. Now there's a lot of work I want to do to it, but before I do all that work, I'm gonna want a clean blank slate, which this currently is not. There's dust everywhere. It's like a biohazard just driving around, if it were to drive around. But it's a biohazard sitting here. So today, we're gonna clean this car. Make sure it looks nice and good.
It needs a detail desperately. There's so much terrible, horrible gunk all over the roof, the back. I mean, stains everywhere. We're not trying to perfect the car today. It needs more than just a cleaning, but as you guys know, it needs a clutch. It needs, well, taillights, a bumper, a new fender painted, a new front bumper. So we've got a lot of stuff to do.
It needs an exhaust tips.
Yeah, it does need exhaust tips. But at the very least, we can get it to a clean enough place inside and, yeah, definitely inside. There's a lot of, the windows don't exist, so it's been getting dirty everywhere. Yeah.
We don't need to clean those, so that's one less thing to clean.
Yeah, but it does mean that there's disgustingness all inside the car. So, yeah. Let's get started because this is gonna take a while. It's very dirty.
Because the car is in a million pieces, the first thing we're doing is covering the window and electronics so they don't get wet and damaged. Because I'm sure they're way too expensive for me to replace.
The first step to any wash is a good rinse, and I'm really being thorough with this one because this thing is covered in dust and grime. For soap, we're using Stoner Car Care's Moab, which is the best soap I've ever used, and it comes in multiple amazing scents too, like the orange creamsicle I'm using now. Because the car is so gross, I'm gonna let the soap sit on the surface and pull some of the grime off while I clean the wheels. It's really important to get every little crevice, and having the right brushes and wheel cleaner makes that way easier. When washing the car, I always like to start from top and go downwards because most of the dirt is at the top, and with this car, there's a lot of it. Now all I have to do is rinse off the car and dry it, again, top to bottom, and we can take the car over to the detail bay and get started on the hard part, the paint correction.
So, we did a little decontamination wash, and that definitely got the surface dust off. However, it did not take care of all of whatever this is, although I do think we can get that out, and all of this, and that.
And everything, really.
Yeah, it's really bad. There's also a lot of very small scratches in it. The tarp probably didn't help that was sitting on top of it when we found it. I think that definitely marred the paint slightly. So now, we need to figure out how to get that out. Luckily, for maybe the first time in history, we slightly know what we're doing. Me and Will have both run detailing businesses, so we kind of know. It's been a little while, we're a little rusty, but we should be able to get most of this off. The guys at J&B have given us a lovely garage bay for a few hours. So, let's try to clean this bad boy up. It's bad. This thing, don't let your car sit for this long.
Yeah. First thing we're gonna do is clay everything. We've got our nice little clay pads. If you guys are still using clay bars, you're sleeping. And we got a little bit of detailing spray because we don't actually have like water on the car in here, but we can put a little detail spray and clay it up. So
Claying the car is a crucial part of the process because it pulls little pieces of dirt and debris off the paint that a regular wash won't, making sure it's ready to be polished. Once that was done, we can pull the car out and rinse it off. Then put it away because JB needs their space back. So we have to come back tomorrow to finish everything up.
The next day.
Day 2, Aston cleaning. As you can see, we have taped off all of the things that we don't want to mess up. And now we're gonna try, now that we have time, to tackle all of the horrible paint by using some cut compound, polishing, anything we can. Luckily, we are at JB Body Works, who have all these lovely things. We even have several of the JB Body Works gentlemen with us to assist. It's pouring outside, so we're taking refuge in here. But this is gonna be fun. We still have to see if we can get all of this out. It's not good.
really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an option. So, I guess there's nothing better to do than just go for it.
Now we want to get this done quickly, so we decided to divide and conquer. I'm using a dual action polisher and taking care of the areas that aren't too bad, which is pretty easy. We do have a problem though. Because of how bad the roof, hood, and trunk are, Will needs to use a high-speed rotary polisher. A high-speed is way more aggressive and can easily do thousands of dollars of damage to the paint, which means we need to be extra careful, or we could set ourselves back months on the build.
I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we're doing by basically showing you what we have on the hood to start with, but the hood actually wasn't the worst panel. The roof is really bad, but the hood, and then I did a high-speed pass on here first. I'm gonna do another cutting pass and then a polishing pass, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what the results are going to look like on the whole car. We got everybody going crazy. Jackson's getting in there. Mikey's getting in there. We're just hammering away on this thing. But yeah, I want to show you guys exactly how a panel is going to come out, and you can kind of get an idea of transformation.
Although it might look strange, the process of polishing a car is actually very simple. Using different grit compounds, similar to sandpaper, you work your way up from a really aggressive cutting compound to a finishing polish that makes the paint look like glass.
I pulled off the piece of tape and you can see the results clear as day, really. This is the side before we do anything, and this is the side that I've completely done. It's definitely getting there. I haven't seen paint this bad in a long time. Me and Jackson, like we said, both have some experience detailing, which makes this process a little bit easier. We're still definitely learning. I've never really used a high-speed machine before, which is this guy over here, which can definitely burn through the paint really fast. Luckily, if I do make a mistake, we're at a body shop, but yeah, you guys can see we are definitely getting some results, getting this paint looking just a little bit better. We're going to keep on chugging away. Gotta do the other half of this hood now, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of what the results are gonna start to look like.
Since the condition of the factory paint is so bad, this process is taking us forever. So I'm gonna let Will keep working on the paint correction and get started working on another big issue that we have to take care of.
I'm gonna start focusing on the interior, so let's take a quick look inside the Aston Martin. Oh, that's a good sound. Sorry, tape. So of course there's no doors. We have door cards back here, but that's next video's problem. I'm just gonna try to get this interior looking good. As you can see, it's pretty, oh, I don't know if I wanna touch that. It's not great.
The first step to cleaning this interior is just removing the thick layer of dust that's coating literally everything. I'm keeping it simple with a microfiber and some interior cleaner, which seems to be doing the trick.
Just to give you a sense of how bad it is, so up here, that's pretty clean now. There's like a little, let me get that for you. That is pretty clean, but the second we come over to this side, that's not so clean. That's in fact really gross. Oh gosh. So, I got my work cut out for me, but it's cleaning up, honestly, cleaning up pretty well. Just need to get the crevices, and then we gotta get the floors and the seats and all that, but one thing at a time.
Now, one of the other reasons why I'm going so crazy with the high speed is because of these little dots here. Basically what I believe that is, and I'm no professional, but I think that's overspray just from basically the car living its entire life sitting outside of a body shop. I'm sure something got done over the many years somewhere near it and ended up with a little bit of overspray on it. That is no fault to the guys. This car was basically ditched here, so kind of had to put it where they could put it. But yeah, high speed is slowly taking all that off. Basically just takes a layer of the clear coat off, and well, that stuff's in that top layer of clear coat, so it basically just strips it off, and then I can polish out the little scratches and get it looking back to pretty good. But it's a little bit weird working on this thin strip here. Kind of a pain, but that's where it gets really bad. You can see down here, it just, it's pretty disgusting. So that's definitely a little bit of a project, but it's coming out nice. Finally, the car looks black again. It was kind of looking gray before because it was so hazy and bad. But yeah, really coming together nicely. Not sure how well this is gonna come across on camera, but as I wipe away the compound from polishing this, most of the little dots are gone. There's still some there. I might make another pass with the old high-speed guy, but for the most part, everything I'm doing is working to some degree, which is shocking for a guy like me. Making it happen. It's only been a few hours. It's only been like 4 hours so far, so not too bad in the grand scheme of things. We spent longer doing the GTI lowering springs. We spent days doing that. Jackson's got PTSD, post-traumatic spring disorder. Whoever at Volkswagen did that, I hate you. This vacuum's doing crazy. Whoa! It's breathing. Something's trying to get out of this vacuum right now. What the heck, man? How's it going in there, kid?
Oh, bro, things are decent.
Not bad, huh? Oh! What is that?
There was a spider that just came out of something. So that's reassuring. I don't like that very much.
No.
He's also a weird cut. Look at him. Don't move fast. Interior is now looking. Check this out. Oh yeah, ignore the no door cards, ignore the open thing, but no more dust. Pretty shiny. Seats looking, seats looking as good as they could look. Yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. And this is really coming together, but I won't show you we need to get just the last little bit of stuff off, and then we'll show you. Then you'll see.
With the interior finally done, I can help Will finish the final cleaning of the paint and remove all the tape so we can check out the finished product.
10:30 p.m. We've been here for a few hours, and I think you're gonna like it. Check this out.
So it is a whole lot better than it was before. It's finally roadworthy because before we can really do anything with it, we're missing a few vital pieces. Maybe you see them here and maybe you saw them up front. We have to find those pieces somewhere. They're somewhere here at this body shop in New York. And we're gonna need to locate them and have help locating them. But that's for next video. Make sure you subscribe. This car is going to be insane. We have some big plans for it. But first, there is a lot of work to be done that me and Will have no clue what we're doing. Might I remind you, the clutch. I just bought my first supercar and it might have been a mistake. It doesn't work. At all. And before we can make it into the coolest Aston Martin in the world, we need to make it into a functioning Aston Martin. That's an important step in the process. Here's what we know. The clutch is completely destroyed. The battery is fully dead. The car is missing a lot of pieces and we don't even know where the pieces are. So today we're gonna have to find and most likely buy all the missing parts in order to bring this beautiful supercar back to its former glory. It's not looking so beautiful right now. This bird's nest also took a dump on here.
Yeah, this garage still needs some work. There's literally a bird's nest up in that hole up there.
His name is Jerry. Say hi to Jerry.
Everybody say to our friend.
I've never seen
Yo,
him.
Jerry!
Hey, yo, Jerry, stop that, bro. But let's get to it. Yeah, no, Jerry, though, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he doesn't mean it.
So let me give you a little tour of our supercar so we can figure out what we need to find and more importantly, what we need to buy. First off, fender liner. Kind of a vital thing actually because Aston Martin puts a lot of important components down here and we don't want them to get hit by rocks. So we're missing this fender liner and both the front fender liners. Also, we're missing the tail lights, which is a good thing for braking so they can see when you're braking. And by they, I mean anyone behind you. This is a bumper, kind of. It's missing the other part of the bumper. That's gonna go on when we find it. This is a fender liner, that's what we need on the other side. Headlight, we've got one of them. It's pretty much permanently winking at me. This one though, doesn't exist. And also the front bumper doesn't exist. And also the badge doesn't exist. And also the front thing here that goes here doesn't exist. It was a rear accident. Where'd all that go? Huh? Somebody's got some explaining to do. Now the good news is the guys at J&B did send us back with this. These are some wrapped things. Honestly, I don't know what is what, but this is some of the stuff. There's also more stuff in the car hiding that we need to get out. But the real problem here is whatever we don't have, we need to then buy. And the problem with buying stuff is I don't have infinite YouTube money. I have some, little bit of money, but not a lot of people bought Aston Martins, which means every part for them is really hard to find. So parts are expensive. So I need to find parts. I need to find a way to pay for the parts. It's gonna be expensive. Before we go buying anything, we need to figure out what we actually already have so we don't buy duplicates. But J&B sent us these. They just kind of gave it to us on our way out. And they said they probably go to the car. So we're gonna figure it out. I think I know that this is a rear bumper.
That does look like a rear bumper, yes.
They did a decent job wrapping it.
Oh dear.
Well,
it's
a little,
it's not great.
it's a little something.
There's a lot of scratches. Oh, yikes.
Oh man. Oh boy, it gets real good over here.
I don't know how that's gonna look on the car.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely the original bumper. This goes to this car. This
Yeah,
feels
there's
right.
no denying that.
Oh.
Is it as, yeah, okay.
Okay, there's some overspray, it looks like.
Holy crap. I don't know if that's good. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not coming out easily.
That's like, it feels like sandpaper.
Yeah, here, listen. That's bad.
That, I think I know what that is.
I think I know what this is.
Which makes it even weirder that this was on the car.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Because that
this is
that.
a Fender. Oh, this looks a whole lot better.
Oh, wow. Why is the other one on the car?
I have no idea. It all begs the question, was it just a rear end accident? That's all anybody knows about it.
Yeah,
we checked the Carfax.
Yeah.
That's what the Carfax says. So I don't quite understand. This is actually in decent shape.
Yeah.
This looks fine. And then finally, in this pile, front bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I had a feeling that's what all this was. Oh yeah.
Oh, does that have, it has the mesh too.
It has the mesh, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and this is in, yeah.
It's in, yeah.
It's in shape. It's like a little grimy, but that's just grime. Okay, yeah, that looks, without fully tearing it apart, it looks okay.
Nice.
So, I don't know how we're gonna fix the rear bumper. It definitely needs something. It can go on the car. There were some parts lurking in the trunk that have been there for 15 years. We have the door cards, which is important. We have none of the trimmings to the door cards that I know of.
It's gonna be hard to find.
Yeah, I don't know at all how an Aston Martin door card goes on. I don't know if we have any of the hardware to honestly put any of this on.
Yeah.
We do have this metal piece, so we saved ourselves quite a lot of money. That's the front grille to an Aston Martin. It also looks at the front grille to a Ford Fusion. Let's go to the trunk. We have a few extra goodies in there. Okay, so headlight, which we have not tried yet. You might have seen this in the other video. We're not quite sure why it's in the trunk.
It's also missing the washer fluid cover thing.
Oh, good.
So that's probably
That's
expensive.
$800.
Yep.
But yeah, we're not sure if it works, so we're gonna have to test that. We have a piece of foam.
That's gotta go somewhere.
Anyone want that?
Aston Martin foam, $500.
Yeah.
Or best offer.
We have
Ooh.
2 lights for the rear that are dusty and off a silver car.
Yeah, wait, what?
Because that is not the correct color, and I'm pretty sure these are all
That's
color.
supposed to match the paint. Okay.
So this
we'll
was
have
off
to-
a silver mobile.
We'll have to do something about that.
Oh, good. Okay, well, we have some stuff, but now we need to order some things, so to the ordering table. Like we said, we're missing a few parts which are going to be hard to find. To be honest, I can't afford to buy the parts brand new. A single badge for this car can cost over $500. And on top of that, they could take weeks to get here from the factory in England. So I need to get a little crafty. I already told you the goal of this project, but in order to do it right, we need to be able to build this Aston better than a just regular stock Aston Martin and for less money. Otherwise, we could have just bought a regular one that's not crash damaged and in pieces. So if you look on Auto Tempest right now, a typical clean Aston Martin V8 Vantage will go from anywhere between $45,000 and $50,000. So we need to be kind of smart when shopping for these parts, otherwise did the wrong thing. Luckily, there are some sellers on eBay Motors that part out crashed Aston Martins, and I was able to find most of the stuff I needed. So I'm gonna order it up and hope it comes in the next couple of days, because we need to get this thing put back together as soon as possible.
Several days later.
It's been a few days, and some parts have arrived for the Aston Martin, so let's take a little look-ski. And the big reveal! Wait for it. Parts, don't look at my address. Stop that. We got some stuff here, so let's take a look at the parts we got. In this box, we have fender liners. Now we have 2 of the 3 we need. Again, very hard to find used parts for an Aston Martin. These are off, I believe, a crashed car. We found these on eBay Motors. They got a guaranteed fit. It's actually great. These pieces here, they're not all we need. An OEM fender liner for this car is $700 a piece, which means we would be very...
We would be $2,100.
$2,100 in.
Yeah.
These, still not cheap, but we're $300 a piece. Let's start getting these parts on, and more importantly, we have to figure out what fasteners we need. While we may have some of the major parts, the biggest problem we're facing is that we're missing all the proper screws and clips to hold them in place. And the only way to find them is to use parts diagrams, which show you all the pieces for every part of the entire car. Now, we aren't going to be able to get factory Aston Martin hardware in time, but what we can do is cross-reference every nut and bolt from the diagram and purchase the bolts that match from our local hardware store and just hope that they work. While it might not be the perfect solution, it's honestly way cheaper and at this point, our only option.
We made it back with some stuff.
I got a
Oh,
person.
what else did you get? Show off the goodies.
So we've got a lot of stuff, and we went a little aggressive because, to be honest, it's probably better to have more than less.
Yeah.
I'd rather have extra than not enough.
Yeah, we just went overboard. But
Perfect.
we should be able to attach it now.
What holds most of this fender liner on is these little guys, and if we put this in, it's obviously like the head of the bolt is almost as big as this, so I'm worried it'll just slip through. So to hold it on, we got these bad boys, and you know, it's a bit big and bulky, but
Oh, that'll work.
it does the job. With the new bolts and washers, the fender liner is going in without really any problems. Thankfully, we seem to have everything we need. The other side, though, isn't as simple. Next step, before we put the fender liner in on the other side, we're gonna change this fender out. The bad fender is just held on by a few bolts and apparently a zip tie, which I cut. And now, it should just pop out.
No, wait. It's the... Oh, that's why this door won't stay open, bro. This strut goes... Oh, we'll never be getting that.
That's why this door won't stay open though. Good. Oh, we got Aston Martin now.
At the expense of a hand, bro.
Worth it.
That worked. Okay, well that
Crazy spot for them to keep the ECU.
it's a little crusty.
I don't know.
All right, well, old Fender.
Old unpainted beat horrible Fender.
Good thing we have a black Fender. I hope the patch is okay. The headlight bolts in before the fender, and it's super easy. Then the fender, with a bit of brute force, pops right into place and we can bolt it down. And after that, we can get started on the fender liner.
Yeah, man. We so rich, even our car got the puffer coat.
Yeah, so rich, man.
So rich that we had to order these used online.
It honestly was pretty good.
Great deal. Shout out to eBay Motors. It got here fast too. Wait. Oh man. It's like we got a real supercar on our hands.
It really starts to make the car feel more complete, to be honest.
Yeah.
The process is basically the same as the other side. The fender liner is going in really easily. We still have a problem though. We don't have rear fender liner. Like I said, parts for this car are really hard to find, and even with the entire internet at our disposal, we still couldn't find one used. Now brand new, the fender liner alone is nearly $1,000, and it was seeming like that was the only option. So we headed over to Aston Martin Boston to see if they even had the parts, and well, we were pleasantly surprised.
Well, Aston Martin Boston have somehow entrusted me. We went to pick up our parts for our car, and then they were like, do you want to drive the new DB12? Yeah. And now I'm in it. The obvious answer was yes. So now I'm sat in the brand new DB12. It's very fast. Even though we're sitting in traffic, it's sick. It's giving me some inspiration, some Aston Martin inspiration. I feel very British.
Is this the first Aston Martin you've fully driven?
Yeah.
There you
This is the first
go.
Aston Martin I've fully driven. That's crazy.
This thing is cool.
Yeah, we have a broken one. Well, I mean, I drove ours.
That doesn't count.
100 feet.
Ours was just
Drove.
Martin then.
There was no Aston, just Martin.
This thing is super sick. Aston Martin Boston's helping us out a little bit with the build too, giving us a nice deal on the parts we're picking up. So shout out them if you guys need an Aston Martin, you know where to go. Talk to Andrew or Jamie over there, or Max. All great people. They have great cars. They've
Like
got
this.
some nice stuff. Yeah, like this, but also some other nice Aston Martins. You should check them out at astonmartinboston.com. We're gonna go enjoy this this DB12 and then pick up the parts we need so we can keep working on the car tomorrow. It was a long day of attaching fender liners and fenders today, but we're getting there.
I'm excited. Day 3, baby! We're in the garage, and we have a lot of work to do because, to be honest, we still don't have most of the parts on. We did get the fender liners in, the other fender in, but now let's focus on the front end. We have some stuff to do there. I want the front end to kind of look complete before we move on, and we have 2 things left. We need to get the front grille part in that really makes it look like a Ford Fusion, and then we need to get the front bumper in. All of which I hope we have the right hardware for, but we're about to find out. Now the bumpers of the part that's actually, honestly, probably the scariest to me, only because they're important.
Yeah.
Everything's important, but like the bumpers, I feel like they're the hardest to mount,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, baby. I can't believe we have this.
I know. This is definitely the original front bumper.
Yeah.
So they had parts lying around. But what I still don't get is this car was in a rear end axle.
So why was all the front apart? Maybe it was in more than that.
It could have been. There's really no good way of knowing.
Oh no! You just gouged the
Oh,
fender.
man. Oh wait, hold on. There's clips. Do you have a clip right here? Yeah, it goes to here. And there's clips. We're good.
Yeah.
Clips are- Now I'm definitely regretting putting the fender liners on before the bumper, but aside from having to stick my fingers in tight spots, it seems like everything is going well, and we have a lot of the right hardware. Everything is lining up as it should, and now all I have to do is install the grille, and the front end is completely back to stock. I would call that a success.
I would too.
So, we have successfully mounted the front bumper. We're nearly done with the front now. We just need...
I got a little gift for you, brother. This guy. Charlie. Yeah, Chuck. Good old Chuck the Grill.
Chuck the grill.
That's on. Dude, close that hood. I want to see this.
Let's check this out.
Oh my days.
Badgeless in Seattle, but I mean,
We have an Aston Martin.
we have an Aston Martin. That's crazy.
Wow.
It wasn't in the garage, stuck in here right now.
I know. To preface, it's really hard to get in and out of the garage right now with the way the clutch is. So we're kind of just gonna have to show you it here as best we can. It does look really good though.
Dude, I've never done something like this before. This is very satisfying.
Very satisfying.
Now that the front end is done, we have some more problems to address. The taillights don't match the car, so I'm gonna temporarily fix that by spray painting them black. We cleaned them off and are masking and sanding them in preparation for paint. I also made us a little paint booth so we can spray them outside. For the best results, it's important to do many light coats rather than just coating it on super thick. Now that we're done, we can let them cure overnight and come finish the car in the morning.
Yo, yesterday, we finished the front end. I don't know why I started like that. And today, we're gonna do the back end. So, let's dive into it. I think step one, we have to get the rear bumper on. Great.
The rear bumper is definitely the hardest of all the panels to install. It's full of wires and plugs, and ours is also a bit damaged, which is making it even harder. After a bit of a battle with plastic tabs, we managed to get it on, but then realized the exhaust tips mount to the car and the bumper in one of the strangest ways I've ever seen. With a bit of finesse, we were able to squeeze them in and finally finish bolting the rest of the bumper to the fenders. Now all that's left is to bolt the freshly painted taillights in, which is honestly pretty simple, and then attach the rear fender liners, which was a very similar process to the front. And then we were basically done.
We've Lego setted the Aston back together. The front end is fully complete. The back end is almost fully complete. Again, we have a surprise coming for down here, so you're gonna have to stay tuned to see that. And honestly, we have a lot of stuff to do to this car still. This is early stages. There's a lot of work. I'm excited. You should be excited. If you haven't already, subscribe.
Look, we have an Aston Martin now. It's almost there.
It's getting there.
It doesn't work yet, so I can't show you guys it outside, but yeah.
But we're gonna turn this thing, honestly, into the coolest Aston Martin you've ever seen. It might not seem that way yet, but I assure you it's gonna get there. But you're just gonna have to subscribe to find out, and you're gonna have to trust me. So,
I would never do that.
I have a problem. This is the cheapest Aston Martin V8 Vantage in the entire country. And it was cheap for a reason. A few weeks ago, I got a random DM from a stranger telling me that he had a supercar that had been crashed, then abandoned at his body shop for 15 years and wanted me to buy it. And even though it could barely move under its own power, does it naturally feel like there's some slippage? I bought it immediately. And now I'm trying to build it into the coolest Aston Martin on the entire internet for less than it would cost to buy one used. In the last video, we got all the body panels back on the car, and it's finally starting to look like a supercar again. But honestly, it's a little underwhelming. Today, I'm gonna fix that by wrapping it in an insane new color that I'm excited about. The only problem? I have no idea how to wrap a car. Never done it. But that hasn't stopped me before. So today I'm gonna try something new and attempt to transform this abandoned supercar. In order to do this correctly, well, not really correctly because I have no idea, we're going to go panel by panel, just because that's probably simplest for us and we get to get right into it. And we're gonna start with the hood because I think it is probably the easiest panel.
It's nice and big and flat.
It's relatively flat, looks easy to work with my limited knowledge. But first off, I know we gotta take these bad boys out.
Now I really have no idea what I'm doing, but I do know that when you're wrapping a car, it's always best to remove basically everything you can from the panel. So before I start wrapping, I'm taking the hood vents off to make it as easy as possible to wrap the hood.
Now that we have those off, we're just gonna give it a wipe down and prep the panel. This one is already pretty clean because this is one that we cleaned in our past video. But we're gonna use a little mixture of isopropyl alcohol and water. And then wipe her down.
This basically just makes sure that there's no waxes or anything on the surface and preps it for proper adhesion to the vinyl.
Says the one who has never done this in his life.
I've never done it either. I watched the guys at Q do the Porsche, which came out great.
Yeah, I have seen plenty of videos and I think I can do it based on that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm delusional, but we're about to find out if that's true. Now, I get to reveal our color early on because, you know, that's cool. Hold on.
But we're gonna wrap it, so it'd be hard to not show you guys the color.
Yeah, so Vivid Vinyl really hooked us up. They sent not only a heat gun, several knives to cut the vinyl with.
And that's including the best damn knife ever made.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that performs. And squeegees that have interchangeable squeegee sections. I don't know what that's called technically, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Squeegee tips.
Yeah.
And of course, that wouldn't be complete without this giant roll of vinyl. And now I'm gonna, I guess, unwrap it.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. It's not green.
Yeah. It's called China Blue. And it is quite the color.
It's a pretty well-known Mercedes color, I believe is where it's from. It is beautiful, and yes, it isn't green. We hear you guys. We've seen a lot of comments of people telling us to make it green.
We did think of how
Yeah,
green.
and we're not saying it'll never be green, but right now, it's gonna be China Blue because we want to do something a little bit different.
I think it's gonna look sick. This is a really cool color. I think it's gonna look even better on the car. So let's start attempting to put it on the car. Thankfully, Vivid gave us the biggest roll they make, so we can be pretty generous when we're cutting out panels. We really don't know what we're doing, but from some YouTube research, I learned that it's best to stretch the panel out and start laying it down from the middle, working your way to the edges. We're quickly finding out though that this is much easier said than done. Yeah, okay, so now we're just gonna pull this down.
Yep.
Pull it from underneath.
We can go a bit at a time.
Whoa, careful.
We can like leave it as here. Alright. Fill it up, and now.
Okay.
Alright, now stretch. Stretch your side really hard, and like pull down.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, but yeah. Always be wrapping. A lot of bubbles in this section. No matter how slowly and carefully we're going, little bubbles and marks keep appearing in the film. But although it isn't coming out perfect, we're making progress getting the entire hood wrapped. And now we can trim along the edge and cut out and reinstall the vents. The first panel we've ever wrapped in our entire lives, and I will tell you, it's really hard. I'm not quite sure if we're gonna be able to do the whole car. I genuinely am not sure for the first time in a very long time. It's certainly not perfect.
Yeah, there's some little stuff. I mean, there's a lot of rock chips down here, which is creating some issues for
That's
us.
crazy. Those rock chips are insane. Those are rock chips.
Well, they're a little bit of both.
It's not by any means perfect. In the sun, it will for sure look bad.
But
what can you do? It's our first time ever doing this. But yeah, that's that done.
the color is awesome.
The color is fantastic. And to be honest, this Vivid is actually really good. It's
Yeah.
relatively easy to work with. It's made, well, we have made some mistakes. We would have made a lot more if it weren't for the wrap being so compliant. So that's good. However, we may want to rewrap this panel.
Yeah, I mean, this was a first trial, so maybe at the end we'll rewrap this, but we'll see how
Much
long
extra we
everything
have
takes.
and
Yeah.
how bad this is. But I don't know if we can do it because this is a very flat panel and we have a lot of other panels that are not so flat and not so forgiving. I'm scared. We have to be a bit more careful now because we can't keep wasting vinyl. If we run out, it could set back our build by weeks, and we can't afford that. The door is going down a bit easier than the hood, and that's because we're using the heat gun more strategically. On a curved panel, it's crucial to heat up the vinyl, allowing it to stretch out and lay down smoothly. The heat can cause problems though. If you overheat the vinyl, it can get too soft and tear through super easily.
Point is that it's thumbnail. Oh.
Well,
Jackson did a oopsie.
I made a mistake and overheated it. It's so finicky from like when it's...
We're so close to having this door done too, but you know what that means?
Wait.
No, that's what that means.
You don't want to do a piece over it? Okay. Let's just run out of wrap, Well, that's demotivating.
Yes, it is.
Oh wait, it's black again.
Back to black. Wrapping is hard.
We're gonna stop for today. I'm exhausted. We've only gotten one panel done, but we also started halfway through the day. So...
And we learned.
We're learning. This is a little demoralizing ripping through the thing, but it is what it is. We're not experts. We don't claim to be experts, so we will figure it out. We will persevere, but there might be some...
Let's watch some YouTube videos about wrap tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch some. We may need to just fully restart
I don't know how much wrap we have though.
Well, I think we leave the hood until the end, until we know we have extra wrap.
Because it is on.
Yeah.
It's really bad around the vents though, like really, really bad.
We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Some more wrapping. Let's see how it goes.
All right, day 2. Day 2. We have done a lot of research and calling a lot of experts to try to learn how to wrap the car. Because I think day 1 might have been a complete waste of time. We're gonna definitely need to redo the hood. It's not good.
Yeah, we got
We did a lot wrong.
YouTube magic's not gonna hide all these bubbles and terribleness that we made. Yeah, we're not good at wrapping yet.
So that was a waste of several hours, which is always fun. But the good news is we have today to fix our mistakes. So we still have a lot of wrap. Vivid sent us a ton of extra because they probably knew we were gonna mess some stuff up. And we can get into it. By the way, this merch, Will's wearing some. Check that out.
Look at this.
Check that merch out. That's our OG merch. And that is going to be leaving our store forever in 3 weeks. Because we're restructuring our merch. It's gonna be very cool. You should be excited about it. But that means this merch is never ever coming back. And if you wanna be an OG fan of the channel, well, you should pick some up.
It's cool too.
It's cool.
Like nice embroidered, comfy shirts. We see you wearing this, we'll be like, yo, that guy's mad
That's
cool.
an OG fan, bro.
Oh, that's
But
my dog.
This is going away. So if you want some, go pick it up. It won't last for very long. And you should be excited about the new merch as well. So let's get into wrapping. I'm ready to go.
What is bro doing?
Bro, I'm ready to go. This is my wrapping stance.
All right, let's wrap.
Let's get to it.
Armed with a good night's sleep and some new knowledge, we're getting started on the same door we messed up yesterday. But hopefully we can do it better this time.
Another trick we learned is to take the protective film off first, which seems counterintuitive, and you can scratch the film this way, but it allows it to stretch a bit more, and if you put some lubricant on the film when you're squeegeeing, you'll reduce the scratching. You can also polish some films, so. Ah, shiny.
Incredibly glossy.
With the protective film off, the vinyl is much easier to lay down, and the bubbles are coming out better than on the hood as well. We're taking our time and being more careful with the heat, and it's definitely paying off. The door is taking way less time, and actually is starting to look pretty decent.
Alrighty, Jackson.
Well, after, honestly, I won't lie to you, our research and development last night has resulted in something quite good. We did make a few small mistakes that we did try to fix, but how does it look to you guys?
Yeah, let me know what you think. We're real rapists now.
This is gonna be black. Oh, sorry, this won't be black.
Yeah,
forever.
we're gonna cover that up.
Cover that.
There's the edges aren't perfect, but
that'll hide it a little bit. I think
we got a piece of trim to go here to cover up my error there. But
for a first panel that we've properly done, I think it's actually perfect. We tucked the edges really well. Up here is not perfect. I wish the trim wasn't here because we could just pop the trim off and it would be a little better. But for what we're working with, this is good. And the edges, the seams under, look at that. That's pretty good.
Hey man, the car's blue. Almost.
I'll take it. Let's do the other door.
Yeah, let's do it.
The doors seem to be the easiest panel to wrap, so we're tackling the passenger side, and honestly, it's going really well. The driver door came out pretty nice, aside from some issues with trimming along the edges, so I'm taking a bit of extra precaution and being as precise as possible. Especially because I could easily damage the car with a knife this sharp.
For a first timer, I feel like I'm doing okay.
Gotta tuck and sit down a little bit, but we're making progress now.
Okay, well that's a keyhole. Not perfect.
But it's key. But it's major key alert.
It's not terrible. You would not know.
Yeah. Don't judge us.
With the doors done, we're tackling one more panel. We have a special plan for what to do with the trunk. More on that later. So for now, we're just wrapping the upper section. This is the last of the easy panels though. Everything else is way more intricate and complicated, and to be honest, I'm getting a little nervous.
Okay, top of the trunk is complete, as you can see. We still have a lot of work to do on the car. We were able to get both doors, top of the trunk, but I think we're gonna call it a day for today. This is a slow process. We still have a few more days to get this done. We'll see if we can get it done in time. We now, of course, also have the hood that we need to redo, but it is what it is. So, see you tomorrow. Hi. We've never done this before. And the evidence of that is showing itself.
The proof is in the pudding.
There's a bubble here.
And that's the pudding.
And that's pudding right there in this hypothetical scenario. And I think we can fix that. This is hard. Wrapping is hard. And this is something that we've never done before. But I still think we can do it.
I mean, we have
an upward battle. We're saving the hardest panels for last.
We've had 2 full days of wrapping. We've done this door with the bubble, the hood, which needs to be redone, this trunk, which is by no means perfect, but it looks all right. We still have to finish it, and this door, which also has the same bubble.
Well, no, it's much smaller on this side. So, I mean, that's a win. Yeah, in 2 days of many hours of wrapping, we haven't gotten a lot done. But today, we're gonna change that. And we're gonna wrap a huge panel.
Except for we only have like an hour to do it today, because Jackson's gotta go do something.
Yeah, my mom needs my help. Because we only have a few hours, we are getting right into wrapping the quarter panel. We have to be extra careful with this because we're using such a big piece of vinyl that we really can't afford to ruin it. Because the panel is so curved, we have to use a lot of heat and stretch it pretty aggressively. This means that we're at risk of tearing a hole in it just like the door. Luckily, it seems like it's going pretty well. And now, all we have to do is cut along all the seams and tuck the edges, and the quarter panel is almost done. Panel. Done, I think. I mean, I still need to do the gas cap, but me and Will have somehow finessed it. It's not perfect, but we're really increasing our ability. Now, we made it easier for ourselves, obviously, by kind of cutting it short here instead of doing all the way down this, because that would be really hard. There will be a seam here, but at the end of the day, for some beginner guys, this is pretty good. So, I mean, it's working. This panel, as you can see, is really hard because it curves down like this.
To be honest, we got that part, like, well nice.
Yeah, it really looks good. And we sort of, sort of getting good at it. I'm not gonna lie. Now, we are leaving the worst panels for last.
Which is that one.
That one I'm actually less concerned with, even more than the front bumper and the rear bumper.
Okay, that's fair.
The rear bumper is rough. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that, but we're saving that as the last step. So you'll have to keep watching to see if we can actually figure it out. But so far, it's working.
Before you have to go today, should we do that and that?
Yeah,
Try to get the
we
side
have
done?
enough time to try to get this like area done.
Yeah.
And see how the side looks. But this color is gorgeous.
It is a really nice color.
Can't move the car to see it in the light, but in here it looks fantastic, and I'm super excited to see it outside.
Shout out Vivid for making some nice colors.
Yeah, this is fresh.
All right, let's do it.
The last piece we have to do today is the A-pillar, and it's actually super straightforward. With pieces like this, we can stretch the film across it in a process called glassing, which basically means just getting all of the wrinkles out before you even touch the paint with the film. With that done, I'm trimming the edges and tucking everything, and it's actually going pretty well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see right there.
Together, man.
That is almost blue.
I'm in a nice chair right now. You know me.
I have bad news. Jerry may not be, he may have vacated. I hope.
He may not be with us anymore.
His nest is completely in tatters. All over the Aston Martin.
And the floor. I vacuumed this yesterday. There's no more Jerry nest up there.
Bro, can we get an L in the chat from our boy Jerry?
He didn't deserve it, man.
F in the chat.
He honestly, man, he was a good guy. He had a good head on his shoulders, but something happened to him. It's definitely not. We didn't do it because he was getting our car dirty. That didn't happen.
No. Jerry, I wouldn't have laid a hand on Jerry.
Natural causes or something, bro. All right, well, we got to clean up the mess of Jerry.
And we got a lot of work to do.
Finish wrapping the car. Yeah,
we got to get over it real quick.
All right, I'm good now. All right, let's clean up Jerry.
Me and Will are now going to take care of the rest of the easy panels, starting with the rear quarter panel, which is going surprisingly well because we learned from our mistakes on the first one. With all that trimmed and ready to go, we can take care of wrapping the A-pillar, which is the pillar next to the windshield. And then we're moving on to the side skirts. Aside from being really low to the ground, the side skirts aren't super difficult to wrap, so we're making quick work of them. Now though, we have to start taking care of the hard stuff. Luckily, I have a secret weapon. We brought in reinforcements. This is Brad. He's gonna help us. He has much more experience than we do with this. With his help, we're gonna attempt the fender that we've been avoiding. So that is the mission. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
That's confidence.
One piece, or do we leave a seam right here?
No seam.
No seam?
No seam. We leave this unwrapped.
Confident.
Yeah, that we'll leave unwrapped, for sure.
We leave this unwrapped, and then we do an inlay.
Inside, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we cut it right here, and then we do an inlay in there with, I think this, and then that. will be one piece and then one piece down here.
This is the confidence we were looking for.
But we're gonna go with the glass method to stretch the vinyl, and then Will will hit it with the squeegee while Jackson and I are pulling, and Will will also heat the middle of the wrap.
I don't think he's good enough to do that. All right, we know the plan. Battle stations. With Brad's help, we're making quick progress with the first fender. Wrapping is definitely something that requires experience to do properly. And with Brad's tips and tricks, we are already learning so much. And to be honest, it's turning out a little bit easier than I expected. We do still have a few issues though. Will left, but me and Brad have been making some work on this fender. This is the hardest panel yet by far. We didn't take this light out. In an ideal world, we would. But I think we'll be able to cut around it. It won't be perfect. And then this, we're gonna have to figure out. This is still a challenge, but I think we're gonna inlay a piece of vinyl in there is what Brad said. He's smarter than me. And then we should be good, I hope.
It's not ideal, but we're worried if we stretch all this vinyl over there, when the sun hits it, it'll bubble back. So we'd almost rather have a little seam in a spot that you don't really see than to have the vinyl peel back.
The scary thing is if we do mess it up, all the work we did is done and we have to redo it all. So that's terrifying. But I think it's always good with wrap, as you know, Brad is teaching me, to leave a little extra room. So if I cut around the edge of this, we should hopefully have a little more than we need, and we can just tuck it. So, you know, you gotta just go for it at some point. I don't have surgical hands. They're a little shaky. But let's see. This is scary.
Nice.
That's good.
Look at that. So far, this is how our work's been looking, which we believe to be an improvement.
I would say compared to the other panels, this is the best panel so far.
By far the hardest.
It's also the hardest panel.
The hardest part of this panel itself was doing here, just because we kept getting vertical fingers and the material needed to go that way. So yeah, we're hoping it all stays down.
We're running out of time today, so we trimmed as much as we could, and me and Will are going to come back tomorrow and try to use our new skills to fix some of the mistakes we made early on. As I said, we do need to redo the hood, and one part of that is having to take the wrap off, which is, again, doesn't feel very good. Oh, and it's also very sticky. It's, you know, we worked so hard to do this, but sometimes...
Yeah, this took way too long for it to feel good about undoing, but it also...
Oh.
It kind of looks horrible everywhere.
It's not good.
Yeah, we didn't do a great job.
We can do a better job. We've learned.
Thanks to our friend Brad for helping learning, because that was super useful.
And he will be back actually soon to help us with the rest of the car. We're not finished with the fender yet. That's where we left off yesterday.
But we're not good enough to do the fender alone. Oh my days!
Woo! I will say that is kind of fun. With the old film off, we can start redoing the hood. Compared to the first time we did it, the hood is coming out 10 times better, and I'm really starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of wrapping. While I finish up the hood though, Will has to take care of something crucial before we do any more wrapping.
I have to deal with what you guys saw in the last video, which is this. Our really messed up rear bumper that we're gonna try to wrap over. And that's a problem because when you wrap over something, you see it. It doesn't just hide things. And I mean, you can hear that noise. This paint is full of overspray and scratches and all the bad stuff that you really don't want to see when you're working on a car, especially when you're dealing with paint work. So my first step for this is just gonna be to take a clay pad to it and get really aggressive and see if everything comes out. I don't know if that's gonna work, but it's the only option we really have because we don't want to sand all the paint off the bumper because, well, I don't think the wrap would stick to that and that would also suck. So I'm gonna get started on trying to get the overspray and everything off of this, and I have to grab a few things to do that. All right. I'm starting this in the most simple way I know, which is with a nice clay pad. These are the best. I like them way more than a clay bar because they're way easier to use. And just a little bit of a Stoner Car Care detail spray because you want to make sure it's still pretty slick. And I just like to really zhuzh it on there. Make sure the clay is wet as well. Now this isn't the easiest way to do it, but because we're in a garage, I don't want to like start power washing and stuff. So I just kind of, oh man. This is bad. Using a clay bar or a clay pad is basically like a less aggressive sandpaper, and for us, it's allowing us to get the debris off the paint without actually damaging it, making it way easier for us to wrap the car. You can just wipe and it doesn't feel completely messed up now. You can see there's no more noise. There's nothing there that would make it look terrible while wrapping. It's never gonna be perfect, to be honest, but it's kind of crazy what a little elbow grease and a clay bar can do. We have a wrappable surface, which is a huge step in the right direction with this bumper. And now basically the rest of the car is ready to get wrapped. Well, Jackson's finished cutting all the edges in the hood, which now looks 50 trillion times better than it was.
Sorry, I was laughing. Somebody asked me, what's SEMA? I said SEMA balls.
That's a great one.
How's this look though? Good?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Hey, you.
Oh man, dude, that's so much better than it was.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm glad we rewrapped it.
That's a sharp line you've done there, my friend. Very nice. Wow, dude, this color is so sick.
This is such a good
Shout
now
out
that
Vivid.
now that we're learning a bit more, the Vivid vinyl is like, I think we're lucky to be working with this particular material.
Yeah, I think anything else we might not have been able to do so easily. So shout out Vivid for that. Yeah. Want to come check out the rear bumper, Jackson?
Oh, yo, it looks better.
Yeah,
And it feels so smooth. Dude, that's crazy that the clay can get that out.
It feels pretty
that's
smooth.
That's good enough to wrap.
Yeah.
That's nicely done. That's pretty good.
All right, well, we are making some good progress over here, but yeah, we got a lot more wrapping to do, so let's get to it.
We ran out of time yesterday working on another cool project. Don't worry, more on that soon. But now we have Brad back and we can finish the rest of the car. We're starting by trimming the fender, which we think looks super cool with the vent in black, so we're going to leave it that way. And now we're going to start working on the other fender. The more and more we wrap, the easier it feels, and this fender is going down really without any hiccups. Getting the exact right amount of heat into the vinyl to stretch it but not damage it is difficult. But once you're able to find the sweet spot, it becomes super compliant and really does whatever you want it to.
So, me and Brad finished the front fender. Well, we didn't finish it. Jackson is over here doing the cutting. But
Slowly getting it, slowly but surely.
Yeah,
This is a very detailed process.
yeah, same process the other side for cutting, but we only really have today left to finish the wrap. So me and Brad are working on the back over here, and we're seeing how much stuff we can get done in the next few hours, because that's all we have left. So we're gonna start prepping this bumper. As you guys saw me do yesterday, I already clayed it, and now I'm just gonna wipe it down with some alcohol, and we should be good to start wrapping it. We got the biggest piece for the whole car because of how long the bumper is and the way it curves, and we're gonna try to get it on here.
I'd maybe go on a knee.
I will go on a knee.
I think it might
Alright,
be.
pull. Oh my days! I'm gonna tack it down far back here.
This is so scary.
I'm gonna hold it up so it
Coming
doesn't
out of the
fall down.
other area to help.
Dude, low-key, we glassed it actually pretty well.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold this up so we can blast it with heat.
Look at these
Do you mind
experts.
grabbing the portable heat gun, maybe? We're gonna glass this side, and then we're gonna lift that side back up.
Oh, doctor. Wow.
That was nice, dude. And then you just gotta smooth down as much as you can and keep working it.
It does look out.
With the film laid down, all we have to do is get it tucked into the smaller, intricate details of the bumper and cut out the reflectors.
The rear bumper has really come together with the help of pretty much all three of us, but Brad has been incredibly helpful here. So that is nearly done. We have to do a couple little things on that. But before we do that, since we only have Brad for a short period of time, we are going to tackle one of the scariest pieces yet. Actually, probably the scariest piece, the front bumper.
I'm a little bit nervous about this one.
The front bumper is the last part of the car we have to wrap, but also probably the hardest. We're doing the same thing we did with the rear bumper. Get the film roughly installed across the entire thing, and then start working on the intricate details. It turns out that it's actually a bit easier than the rear bumper, and now we can install the grille and the car is basically done.
So, the car is now complete. And before I show it to you, this has been one heck of a process. A process I think me and Will, we probably bit off more than we could chew in this scenario, but I'm really proud of us. It's not perfect by any means. Big shout out to Brad for helping us, but we learned a lot. This is a hard process, and that's the whole point of this channel, is just like learning how to do these things. We never claim to be experts. And
We're definitely not.
you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta try. But here is the finished product.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that little edit. Jackson, what do you think of the car?
I love it, and it's trying to hurt me now. But I do really love it. This color is insane. I hope you guys like it as much as we do. We'll see you in the next one. This is my supercar. It's not so super right now because it doesn't move. The clutch is completely destroyed. Does it naturally feel like there's some slippage? And it's gotten so bad, it literally can't move under its own power. So today, we're gonna fix that. We've got the Aston here. We've got what took me a second. I almost destroyed both the trailer and the truck. But we have a truck and a trailer. We got the Raptor with, kindly, you know, Brad.
We got Brad, our wrap expert.
He's also my first YouTube video this Sunday. The video is gonna drop. You guys should definitely check it out.
Check it out.
And we're borrowing his trailer that says Mopar on the side.
Yeah, for our Mopar V8, nothing here is Mopar. But
the first trick with getting this car out of here, being that the clutch doesn't really work, the battery's fully dead. So we're hoping that putting a new battery in, we can at least start it, it'll stay running, we can maybe get it to move. I have no idea where to begin, but let's attempt to take the old battery out. The problem is everything is battery controlled.
yeah.
These seats don't move forward. Nothing works without the battery.
Yeah, that's a great thing about Aston Martins. If you don't have the battery, Aston Martins don't do anything at all, which is super fun for a car that the battery always dies.
Like I said, the first thing we're doing today is replacing the battery so we can put the car into neutral and roll it out of the garage. Because it's an Aston Martin, the battery is behind the seat and we have to remove a bunch of panels and trim to get access to it. But after a bit of struggling, it seems like the old battery is ready to come out. Now we can plug in the new one and see if the car will start for the first time in weeks.
Hold on.
Ready?
Yeah.
She's on. All right.
Start cutting a little bit. Cut it.
Use the momentum.
Cut it all the way.
You're good. All the way.
Oh my God, the color looks so good outside.
Yo,
The wrap looks sick, dude. The color looks so cool.
so good.
Well, we're one step at a time in it right now.
Yo, it looks so nice. Come look at this.
God dang. Oh yeah, we do need
Get
to.
it bumper to bumper with my car and then we'll be able to get
it.
it.
Yeah.
You sit inside because you're filming. I can push.
Okay.
I think we got this.
Yeah. Oh, this is...
Let me line.
Yeah, wait, we have to line up the tires.
Go! Come on! Push! Go left a little. Go.
Oh my God.
Aston Martin trailer.
Watch my door, Jackson. We should really get something over this window. It's raining.
Yeah. It's only going down the street, but we can get a little wet. Our camera gets wet. Get skinny, bro.
Bro, I got thunder thighs. Oh, I shouldn't be standing on that probably. On another note, something that is starting to sink in right now is that, I know this is gonna sound stupid, but we're towing our Aston Martin with a Raptor right now. A year ago, I would have never thought that anything like this was ever possible. And I mean, it's pretty cool.
Not something that would have crossed my mind months ago.
That's what I said. A year ago, we had a Golf and my Audi, which was still pretty cool cars. Now, you have a Raptor and an Aston Martin.
I like it.
Yeah.
We could get more stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, we're not done. And the 911's back there. Come on, this is so cool. I love this truck, by the way. This truck has been great. But, yeah, it's serving its purpose.
All we have to do now is strap the car down and we can trailer it over to our friend Farley's shop, which is where we're going to be finally installing the new clutch.
Somehow, miraculously, the Aston Martin is inside Farley's shop. Oh yes.
One step closer to drivability.
There's still a lot to be done, and we have no idea what we're doing, and that's exactly why we're here. We are going to attempt, but with supervision. So if we make a mistake, it will still be a mistake, but Farley can correct it and assist and make sure that we don't do anything drastically terrible.
Sometimes it's better to at least have someone that sort of knows what they're doing there so they don't let us break it. So that's kind of our thinking on this one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these guys, they're gonna take a quick look at it. Probably gonna get started on working on it tomorrow because it's a little bit late if you can't see how dark it is
Yeah, we
outside.
had to wait a little bit of time because Farley was obviously working on some cars, and this thing, it was just chilling on the trailer, so it was
Yeah.
happy to wait.
Yeah, it's been waiting for 15 years to be drivable, so what's another couple of hours?
It doesn't look 15 years old.
No, it really is beautiful. I love the badge. We have to redo the badge in the back. We didn't do that. Someone pointed that out in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
There's still some little things. I forgot to wrap a door handle.
But yeah, we're gonna get it there eventually. But right now, the clutch is the biggest problem because we can't drive it. And who wants to work on a car you can't even drive?
I've also never seen this thing up on a lift, so that's gonna be. We'll see if there's any detrimental rust underneath.
Yeah, that could be a revelation.
A bad revelation. You really do make poor decisions, and you're enabling us to do it.
Come take a peek under the Aston. We got Farley here. Farley, say hello.
What's up? Hello.
We have missing panels for sure down here.
Yeah.
We're missing some stuff because as you can see, everything up in there, this should be covered ideally and not, you know, exposed to the elements. Farley just pointed out all this dust down here, that's clutch. So
You got clutch on your finger.
I've got clutch fingers.
Yeah, come on.
Clutch dust. Don't breathe too much of that in.
You're gonna start slipping.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I already have traction in my fingers now. But no traction in here, it's all leaked out.
Yeah, we ran out of it.
Yeah, that's frictionless now. It's a frictionless clutch.
That's a good kind.
So this needs to be resolved, and I don't know how.
Well, there's the new clutch. We'll show you guys that more tomorrow, but the first steps that we were just going over with Farley is remove this exhaust and then remove the big torque tube. We'll get into more of that tomorrow. We'll see you then.
One day later.
Now, as much as I want to help with everything, Farley and Paolo have a business to run. So to speed up the process, they're getting right into removing the exhaust, which is the first step to accessing the clutch. Some of the bolts are seized on pretty badly, but luckily we have experts, and they're using this scary looking blowtorch I would never think to touch to heat up the bolts and get them out. And it seems to be working.
The torch has done some great work, and now we should, hopefully, I'm saying now I haven't done anything. Paolo here's getting all the work done, pulling this exhaust off, and it's making it look easy.
Now we can drop the exhaust and start focusing on the next challenge. In some front-engine sports cars, they have what's called a transaxle. This means that the transmission is actually at the back of the car and is connected to the engine by a special type of drive shaft called a torque tube. The bell housing, which is where the clutch is located, is still attached to the engine. But to access it, we have to remove the transmission and the torque tube, which is one of the reasons why this job can be so expensive to do. Luckily, Farley and the guys have done it plenty of times before and are already getting right into it. But that doesn't mean it'll be easy.
Guys are trying to figure out a slight problem right now. The bell housing is a bit large to clear the headers, and the headers are very much seized onto the block, or at least the bolts, the studs that go into the block are in pretty rough shape, and touching them, you risk breaking them into the block, and then you're in real trouble. So they're trying to figure out if it's possible to maybe scooch the bell housing around the headers, but it is a very tight fit. So I'm not sure if it's possible, but these guys are more than capable of figuring it out. This is the bell housing right here, and then up in here, this is the headers coming all the way back, and you can see that they just sort of wrap around, and it's incredibly challenging, I imagine, to get this whole thing out of there with those still in, but it might be the best route forward, just because if those break, it could be game over. There's always a solution to fixing it, but it would be challenging. We're getting there slowly but surely. All the shields are off, all the exhaust, well, pretty much all the exhaust minus these headers here are out of the way, and that should clear up the room to start to get to our clutch that's deep in here, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like. I imagine it's pretty destroyed. I can see the dust literally coming out of the seal, so it's bad. It's in rough shape, I imagine. But luckily, we got a new one from Velocity AP down here, but we'll get to that shortly.
The guys are removing the transmission, which is the last step before we can try to remove the torque tube. With that out of the way, it's becoming clear that we unfortunately have to remove at least one of the headers. To save us from snapping a bolt and destroying the head, Paolo is going to do this step for us. Thankfully, it's looking like the bolts are coming out well, and now we can drop the torque tube to reveal the clutch behind it. Let's see what we find.
Now that we've reached this point, we're gonna take over, which is a terrible decision. But
this is Captain Friendly work.
Where's
right
the
here.
fun without us trying it? So this here is the pressure plate. We got to take that off first, and it's all of these bolts around here, and we better not break any of them. Otherwise, we'd be in for some trouble. But they look rather clean, so hopefully we don't run into trouble. We've gloved up the dust that's on here. Apparently not great for you to touch. So, gloves. Don't worry, Mom. I'm safe. Oh, it's like butter. Will this just fall out when I undo it all, Farley?
Yeah. So there's these little splines that pressure plate will sit on, but you want to use your hand. Once you get to the last one, just hold it and then work it out. Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get to the last one, just put pressure on that plate.
Put pressure on the pressure plate. Whoa.
So close.
There's still one on there, right?
There's still one.
Okay.
Okay, and now, one more. And hopefully.
Keep some pressure on that plate, brother.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get it on.
Oh, that's fine. It probably comes with new ones anyway, so.
Okay. And then kind of work it off.
Yeah. I get it off, man.
I'll try it. Okay, hold it. Can be a little heavy. The disc will be right in your hand. Right there.
Oh.
How's that look, Farley?
Horrible.
Our clutch has turned from a solid to an
Aren't
air.
Completely gone.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
See the marks there?
Yeah. I mean, there. Yeah, that should be slotted.
Oh my gosh,
Correct.
there's nothing left.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't work.
Well, it's honestly like very reassuring that it is the clutch and it's not something else.
The dust.
That's clutch.
Gosh, that's all the clutch.
Wow.
Well,
That's
no
supposed to be
wonder
there.
it wasn't working.
Yeah, that's clutch.
Well, that is the clutch clearly destroyed.
Yeah,
So
let
that's
me
a
show
great.
you all this more. So, if you don't know what a clutch is supposed to look like, this is kind of more what it's supposed to look like, but if you look on the other side, there's nothing left on this clutch. It's all on my fingers. There's nothing left on this clutch. Yeah, Jackson, show them what a properly clutched clutch is gonna look like. Oh my God, it's considerably thicker.
Not flat.
Has life.
Yeah, Velocity AP, by the way, if you do need any Aston Martin stuff, they make some amazing products like this.
This is going to transform the way the car drives, allegedly, and if Velocity AP says it'll transform an Aston Martin, it will. Because
They are
know everything.
the people for Aston Martin. They know exactly what they're doing. The guy who owns it is a huge Aston Martin guy, and he just makes some incredible stuff. And this will not be the last Velocity AP thing to go on this car, because I trust these guys with anything Aston Martin, and you should too. So if you have one, check them out. If you
I'll
do
give you
want
a
to buy
hint
one,
of what the next Velocity AP part going on the car is, and it looks something like that.
but just nicer.
Yeah, better, louder. It's gonna get rid of this thing here too. This big ol' Henry, which we don't like. Yeah, so.
I'm quickly taking the flywheel out, which is fairly easy, and with that, it's almost time to put all the new goodies back in, which is super exciting. Day 2, well, pretty much day 1 of working on the clutch, but day 2, after we got the car here, is over. We are going to come back to this, but we have finally taken all the old components out, except for the rear main seal. And I'm a little nervous for that because I have no idea how to take a rear main seal.
For those of you that don't know, rear main seal, basically, behind this is the crankshaft of the engine, and the seal is what stops all the oil inside the engine from coming out of the engine when you're transmitting the power through the crankshaft to the clutch, through the flywheel. It's all complicated stuff, but basically it stops oil from coming out the back of the engine. And it's kind of one of those things that, even though it's not leaking on this car, while you're in there, it's the only time you'll ever get a chance to do it unless you want to drop the whole transmission and clutch again. So we order one, we're going to do it while it's in there. And that's going to be a tomorrow project. So we will catch up with you guys when we're doing that, but we're almost there. This upgraded clutch, like we said, is going to transform the way the car drives. We don't have a benchmark because it didn't drive before, so it will definitely transform it.
Anything is better than what it was before, which was not moving at all.
Yeah, but I have driven one of these cars with the automatic, and it wasn't great, so hopefully this will be better.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have a car that works, and this is so reassuring to me because we kind of know now that was definitely bad. Yeah, sick.
Let's do it.
Sick.
Dog.
The next day.
We're back at Farley's, second day, and the seal is in. So that is one less thing that I have to worry about, but now I have to worry about getting the flywheel, pressure plate, and clutch back in the car, which I have never done before, so that's gonna be interesting, but it doesn't seem too difficult. But if I do mess it up, and then we put everything back together, that would be a problem. Luckily, I have these guys to check over my work.
So let's get to it.
Now we basically just have to reverse exactly what we did before, starting with installing the new upgraded flywheel, which is going in pretty easy. The next part is much more difficult though. This part may be my fault, because this is a special aftermarket clutch. You're supposed to use a special tool to install it and align it, which we don't have. Now normally I would just order it and wait the few days for it to come in, but because we don't want to take up Farley's shop for the next few days, we have to take care of it now. Farley thinks that we can use the drive shaft to align the new clutch, and because he's much smarter than me, that's what we're going to try. With the clutch aligned, we can slowly tighten each bolt at the same time, making sure that the clutch is evenly tightened. If it's not done perfectly, the clutch won't work and could vibrate really badly and destroy itself. So Farley is taking care of this part. It seems as though the clutch went in correctly, so we're going to start to put everything back in and get ready to see if it works. Starting with the torque tube, which is really heavy, we can get that bolted in and then move on to reinstalling the transaxle and the full exhaust. Farley and Paolo are taking care of this because it would honestly take forever if me and Will tried to do it, and they want their shop back. With that all in, we can start the final preparation to get the car driving, which is actually not as simple as you'd think. Because this car was built in the early 2000s, it has an overly complicated and honestly quite stupid transmission. To bleed it, which means removing all the air out of the hydraulic lines, you need a special computer, a comically large syringe, and a lot of patience. With the first bleed done, we can start it up and see if it's all working. And honestly, I'm a bit nervous about it.
That's only when it's off though.
Yeah, no, but that's how we gotta start.
Okay.
Making sure that point is.
Yeah, tail lights are on.
Reverse light is on, man.
Yeah, the reverse light's on.
We are testing right now to see if the pump that actuates the clutch is still working, because if that's broken, then we have to redo everything basically. So there's that.
Spend money.
No, actually, we don't have to redo everything. We just have to drop the transaxle.
We just spend money.
And spend money. Yes, it's like $1,000-something part. And it could be the reason why the clutch was bad in the first place. But Farley seems to think it isn't, because he's a real nice guy. I'm the pessimistic guy. He's the optimistic guy.
Alright, guys, let me start it up, okay?
Uh-oh. First gear, nice. Right back into neutral. Moment of truth. Oh, perfect.
Doesn't like reverse.
So the problem we're facing right now is it doesn't want to grab reverse. It was already going into first. It'll go into reverse when it's off, but it really doesn't want to go into reverse when it's on, which usually, well, reverse I think is technically the hardest one for it to go into with these kind of transmissions. So it requires the most pressure. So if the pump can't build enough pressure to put it into reverse, it's not a good sign for the pump. We've already been bleeding it a couple times and it still doesn't want to go in reverse. So either we have an Aston Martin with no reverse, or we are basically back to square one. If you want to hit reverse, just so you guys can see. Oh, no. Yeah, it goes into reverse totally fine when the car is off and there's no pressure on anything, but the second the car is on, there's some movement, it doesn't want to go into reverse, which usually isn't a good sign when your car doesn't want to go in reverse. That means there's likely a problem with something in the transmission or the clutch potentially, which means, unlike what we thought, our work here is not done yet. But at least we know the clutch was one of the problems.
We're trying to bleed the pump again because sometimes it's really hard to get air pockets out of all the pumps. It still won't go into reverse though, and it's really starting to look like we have a bigger problem than just air in the lines.
I'm leaving Jackson in there because he is checking out the car, but the biggest problem with this all right now is that we are in a super tight timeline with the clutch right now. It's kind of a rock and a hard place if we can't get this video filmed, because the car has to stay here until we get a new part. If it's a new pump, if it's something with the clutch alignment, if it's anything. I don't think it's something the guys did. I think it might just have to do with the fact that we were abusing the clutch pump with the clutch being shot. That's something that's a little bit out of my mental capacity. But this could be a big problem. This could set us back a long time, and this could mean that we need to spend a lot more money, which we don't have right now. So none of it's good. However, they're gonna keep trying to bleed it. They're gonna do it one more time and maybe we'll be able to get the clutch working, but things aren't looking great, but at least there's a new clutch in the car, I guess. Not ideal. Well, something's happening this time. Don't worry.
Doesn't say anything yet.
Doesn't say anything, just put me on pressure.
All right, unscrew.
the clutch, please, screw.
Okay.
Hit okay?
Oh, yep.
Yep. Says please wait.
Now it's doing something at least. 3, 2, 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Tighten and remove the pipe. Oh, he's pumping up the jam. We did the bleed. We did the calibration. It learned itself, it tuned itself. These are all the words of the master right here. Now we're gonna try it one more time.
It's scary.
Please, just go into reverse, please. Make me a happy man today, Aston Martin. Oh! Yeah! That's my guy right there. Let's go. This is why.
Yeah, he's got the optimism, baby.
This is why we bring our cars to this man right here. That's reverse. That's first. That's neutral. Oh, look at that big R on the dash. That's what we were looking for.
That was a little stressful for a moment.
Yeah, I thought it was real.
I told you guys.
This guy's the man, bro. I love this guy. That's why we trusted only Farley to do this for us. And Paulo, yes, sorry. I was more thinking Eurotech. Yeah. I'm not leaving you out, Paulo. Don't worry. I'll take a dirty high five. Thank you for your help. These guys are the best. If you guys need anyone to work on literally any car, go to Eurotech. They're the best.
Super exciting. That is awesome. Sometimes this stuff can be a little scary, but it's good when you're in trusted hands over here. So if we were doing this in the garage right now, I'd be, it wouldn't have worked. We're gonna keep on rolling with this. We're almost done here. That's a great sign. We're gonna wrap up a few things. Farley's gonna look over a few things. I'm gonna stand here and look like I know what I'm doing. And then we will try to get it to move out of here for the first time under its own power in a very long time. So stick with us here. Test drive time. Farley's behind the wheel. This is exciting. I have not really, reverse would be optimal at this moment. Oh, but
Oh my God!
it moves under its own power. I never thought I'd be so excited to see a car just go in reverse, but that's exciting.
Looks good. Wow, what a grab. Engagement.
It's learning that new clutch.
The engagement point is nice, man.
Drive.
Smooth.
Woo-hoo-hoo. That's what I'm talking about. The automatic lock's just locked. We're cruising. This is the most thrilling 5 miles an hour ever. I've never reached second in this car. Third. Oh my God. It's glorious. This is great. Not bad.
No, it feels really good, man. So what I'm gonna do.
Oh, dude, this is so cool. It's so cool to get this car actually moving again. From sitting in an abandoned body shop, just sitting there, to functioning once again. We have breathed some life back into this thing. And it works, shockingly.
It seems happy too.
Yeah, it seems really happy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Farley.
Thank you. It was
We
a
got
pleasure
that
working with you guys.
operational vehicle now.
You guys did a great job, man. Great work.
He's just saying that. He did most of it.
No. You guys really helped out. It was great. It was a good project with you guys. Dude, she's behaving really well.
Really good?
Yeah.
Shit's
No,
so
it's-
smooth.
And Eurotech.
You guys are the best.
Thank you so much,
that was
Farley.
fun, man. Thank you.
Subscribe to the channel.
Always a fun day when it works out at the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
No,
Not too bad.
It feels like it shouldn't. It's really smooth.
Yeah, try. It's all right.
It's so smooth.
That's crazy. The Aston is driving. This is the cheapest V8 Vantage in the entire world. And well, it was cheap for a reason.
This car was abandoned at a body shop for 15 years, and when I bought it, it could barely move under its own power.
Does it naturally feel like there's some slippage?
Over the past few months, we've been restoring it back to its former glory by cleaning it, putting it all back together, wrapping it this gorgeous blue, and last week, we replaced the clutch, meaning it can actually drive down the road now. But that doesn't mean we should be driving it. As a lot of you have pointed out, this car has 15-year-old fluids in it. And that basically means that the oil and coolant in the engine are not able to properly do their jobs. And if we did drive it, it would likely blow up, causing us to need a new motor, which would basically ruin our entire plan. So today we're gonna be taking care of everything to make this car actually roadworthy, which might be harder than we thought. We have to do a bunch of stuff on this car to get it ready to drive, but we'll start with an oil change. And on most cars, it's really simple. If you've done an oil change before, you simply unplug the drain plug, take the oil filter off, replace the oil filter, and then just put your new oil back in. This car, though, is a bit different. We do have an oil filter, we do have drain plugs, but there's a bit more than that. So this car is actually a dry sump, which means that it's much harder. It's really what it is.
A dry sump means that there's no oil pan in the bottom of the engine where the oil sits and is picked up from. There's just a bunch of lines and an external reservoir for the oil with a pump in it, and that pump gets the oil going around the car. And the reason you do that is under heavy G's, in some cars the oil will slosh around in the bottom of the engine and it won't get picked up and sent into the engine while the engine's running. So to solve that, you get a dry sump, and in the reservoir, the engine can always get oil fed to it while you're driving hard.
But it does mean it's a lot harder. And the best way to probably show you is just to get underneath the car and show you how many things we need to undo. So let's get to that. We started off by getting the car up on jack stands so that we can get to the underside of the engine. We also have to take this big metal panel off, which is here to protect the engine from damage while driving down the road. And now we have full access to everything we need. Welcome to the nether regions of the Aston Martin. So you will see here, that is oil drain plug number 1. So that's the first place where we're gonna drain oil from. In a normal car, it would just be the single one in an oil filter. Our oil filter is here. That's where we'll be replacing it. This is an OEM Aston Martin oil filter, which is a great sign. It means the people before us were probably getting it serviced at a dealership, which makes sense because the car has so few miles on it. If you follow me back here, we have, this is oil area 2, along with this. We'll get to that in a second. There's 2 of these little, what would you call them? Like oil
filter.
Another type of oil filter. It's like a mesh oil filter. There's one here and one back here. So it's quite an operation.
Yeah, it's a lot more than my truck.
We're gonna start with drain plug 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That seems pretty straightforward. It's just like a normal car. We'll start and we'll see where we get from there.
I'm getting a little nervous right now because we also could find out that there's metal shavings in the oil.
That would be really bad.
Yeah, so that could become a big problem. That means we're screwed. So yeah, we can have something to look forward to.
Yeah,
but
we want this oil to look.
It's gonna look 15 years old, but we want it to look 15 years old and not full of rod bearings, which would be a great sign.
The first drain plug is pretty easy to remove, and this is where a large amount of oil in the engine is stored. So with that drain, we can start to get an idea of the condition of the engine by looking at the oil we just removed.
Okay.
I'm just cleaning off the drain plug bolts here, and you're gonna want to put a new washer, and luckily we have one. But let's take a look at our oil. It is rather delicious looking.
Yeah.
Is that metally? Or just?
Oh no, it is metally.
A little.
But I can't tell because it's also so old. Is it? No, it's pretty.
It's a little metally.
What we have to do, regardless of if it's metally or not, at the very least, we have to do, like, put new oil in it, run it for a few thousand miles, see what happens.
It's definitely a little glittery though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But again, that's to be expected with how old the oil is. There's a little bit of metal in the oil, but kind of half expected that, so what we're gonna do is just do the oil change now, kind of drive it again, get it used to running for the first time in 15 years, and then do another oil change soon, and then take a look at it. We can maybe send the new oil off to like a lab for analysis, but for now there's not much we can do about it except for hope that it doesn't blow up and keep driving it. So we're gonna make sure it's full on new oil.
Not too bad though, all things considered.
Yeah.
So clean this bad boy off. We got a new O-ring, or not O-ring, sorry, new washer here. Then this is gonna go right back in where it came from. Working our way back, we are now going to take care of changing out the oil filter, which should be pretty simple. We're using a generic oil filter removal tool, but it feels like it's seized on there super tight. With a bit of brute force, it's finally coming off, but not without any problems.
We've noticed that the insert that's supposed to go into the car has come out with the filter, and that's the filter. That's what was supposed to come out of the car, and this is what has come out of the car.
Very odd. We need to get this adapter out of the oil filter before we do anything else, but one of the problems with my garage is we don't really have the right tools. We can't get the adapter to budge, so rather than wasting any more time, we're gonna take it to our friend Farley's shop and let him have a crack at getting it out. And of course, he's making it look way too easy. Now we can reinstall the adapter, put in the new oil filter, and then we can open the second drain plug and let all the oil drain out. With that done, we can move on to the most difficult part of the entire oil change. So we're gonna get these bypass filters out, and they are a little tricky. You first gotta start, it's not a very deep bolt. I don't want to keep turning it. It feels like it was about to jump a thread. Yeah, it was about to jump a thread.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So according to the internet, these strip really easily?
They're really on there too.
That's good.
I think they are T30s. I don't like this one bit, I'll tell you what. Oh, and then not spinning properly.
We have hit another roadblock in the oil change in that the bolts that are holding in the cap for the two little oil filter things that are also in there that we need to change, or not change, but clean and drain from, is trying to strip. This is not ideal. I've never seen a more complicated oil change in my entire life.
I'm gonna try to get this off.
And just yeet it and see what happens.
Got one.
Heck yeah.
That's 1 of 4.
Hey, that's a step in the right direction though.
Alright. Let's see, can I get this without destroying everything? Oh my god. You got a mallet over there?
That's not
Pretty
good.
mangled.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, one side of it is just completely blown out the side.
Ugh.
The second bolt is completely stripped, so we're gonna have to try to cut a slit into it and use a flathead to get it out. The head of the bolt is really small though, so we have to be extremely precise, ensuring that we don't cut too much, otherwise we start cutting into the engine itself. But also, we need enough of an edge on the bolt that we can turn it, which is starting to feel impossible. It's so bad, bro. And the more that we it, the less chances we get.
Let me check it out.
I don't know if that's gonna help, only because I just need to grind it more. There's nothing that can fit and that will turn it.
Alright.
It's just too sloped, you know what I mean?
Not really, because I can't see it.
Alright, go look. Alright, I was not trusting Will, but Will was able to grip strike the crap out of it.
Yeah, man, look at this piece, bro. Look at this piece.
The big screwdriver method worked with
Yo,
Will's,
shout out the big
with
screwdriver,
Will's
bro.
forearm power.
Shout out the big screwdriver.
That's crazy, bro.
I don't know how, I think I just got a really good angle on it, to be honest.
I also
But
like,
here she is.
look at that.
You know the really messed up part though? There's still 2 more.
I know, it's potential that this happens again, but at least we'll have more tries because this bolt, we gotta be careful. Now that Will has successfully been the victor, it's like grabbing the sword out of the rock. We are going
King of the
to,
Aston Martin.
yeah, he's king of the Aston.
King Charles.
He'll get first drive on this thing now.
I already did.
That's true. This is a bolt that actually will go into the filter. I can maybe show you.
We can show them it when it's out, but yeah,
we
take
can
it out.
pull it down.
Take it out and we'll show them.
Should get a lot of oil out. So this threads in. Then we
Just pull it. You get it?
yeah. There's some oil back there.
Oh wow, yeah, there is a consistent little stream coming.
This car has oil in so many places. You want to pass me a shop towel? This is one of the 2 bypass filters for the oil.
It's literally just like a screen door.
Like yeah, literally what you would find in your screen door system. Unfortunately, we can't celebrate that win just yet because we still have to take off another filter. And this time, both of the bolts are fully stripping right away. We're going to try the same method that worked the first time, cutting a slit into the bolts. It's not working nearly as well as the first time though. And it feels like whoever last did this over-torqued the bolts, because even if I get a decent grip on it with the screwdriver, it won't budge. We have one last idea though that might work to get it out, but it could also completely destroy the bolts, meaning we'd have to drill it out and risk puncturing a hole in the engine block. Obviously, not so good. We were trying to hammer a screwdriver on the edge of the bolt and get it to start to loosen with our specialty, brute force and ignorance. Let's see how it goes. Whack it. Okay, this looks a little weird, but...
Oh yeah. Oh, we got it. Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my god.
Yes, boy! That one's off. The only problem is there's another one that's jammed on. So let me get the angle grinder out again. Oh, there's that one.
Oh, my arm hurts.
All right, you take a break. I'm gonna angle grind. Unfortunately, the last bolt isn't any easier than the rest of them. So we're still having to angle grind, screw drive, and hammer it over and over again. And this one actually feels even harder to get off than the other two. I'm almost ready to give up, but Will has one more idea of using the cap to twist the bolt off. And I'm gonna give it a try before we break out the drill.
Well, I can't get any movement on a rubber mat. I don't think. Hold on. Oh, I can. I did it.
You did it?
Yeah.
That worked?
Yes.
Yes!
That was a great suggestion.
Holy Let's go! Let's go! Oh my god. Y'all might be thinking I'm acting with this That is my genuine reaction.
Whatever these are made out of is absolute trash. It's almost like if you've ever seen our Porsche roof rail install.
Don't even say that around me.
It was like that.
Yeah, it was that bad.
These are absolutely junk.
It's crazy the two jobs that have messed us up the most have been an oil change and installing roof rails.
This should have been done years ago.
Well, yes, actually, it should have been done about 14 years ago.
But this should have only taken, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the other oil draining. There we go.
Nice. Okay, so I'm glad we took that one out because there's a lot of oil
There's a
behind
lot
there.
of oil back there. There was a second where we were like, maybe we should just leave it there because it is such a pain.
You want some shop towels? Here you go.
I'll tell you, there's something I love about working on cars is it's always a struggle. You almost always run into an issue, but the feeling you get when you complete it, like in the moment, it's like, this is the worst thing ever. I hate this so much. But after you get it, it's just like, oh, this is nice, and just cleaning this up. We're gonna clean these up in the sink as well. You want to get all the gunk off, so you can use brake clean. We're gonna just use some like really hot water with a sprayer. And that should get all the old residue out and oil and clean it up enough to then put the new O-rings in.
Let's go do that.
Let's get to it.
With the filters cleaned, we can reinstall them, lower the car down, and fill the engine back up with oil. Because this car is a dry sump, it takes a ton of oil. 10 quarts to be exact, and it also has a very specific filling procedure that involves running the engine at 2,000 RPMs for 20 seconds and then checking the level. We've started with just adding 9 quarts at first, and it's a bit low, so we're adding the final quart, and now we are officially done with the world's worst oil change. Now it's on to the coolant flush, and I hope it's a bit easier. For this coolant flush, we're pretty much pioneers. It's like we're gonna be landing on the moon for the first time because there is no information that I can find online. Me and Will have looked. So I think I found what might be the correct place to drain the coolant from. Too long. I'm a little worried. I don't know what happens when this comes out.
Probably coolant goes everywhere.
It's all just gonna drop onto this tray.
Yeah, but then it'll drop onto the...
No, it's pitted in there. It's like...
Well, it's coming.
Once I start this, there's no stopping it.
Well, in hindsight, I guess that wasn't a great idea.
Oh my god, get this off.
Well, so...
What did we learn today?
Don't listen to me, apparently. Well, I guess it still would have done that, probably.
I don't know where the screw went.
I definitely don't know where the screw is. Alright, you put it down now. That's disgusting.
I got
goop.
soaking wet.
The coolant doesn't look bad though.
Where's the screw?
It might still be in there now.
I got it out all the way. And I lost it.
Huh? That'll be funny.
The screw's somewhere.
Oh. Wow. With all the old coolant drained, we can put the plug back in and fill it with new coolant. Then we can start up the engine and let it fully get up to temperature so the coolant can expand and the thermostat opens so it flows all the way through the radiator. After that, we can let the car cool down and then we check the coolant one final time to see if we need to add any more. It's the next day and we've let the car cool down overnight. So now we can check our coolant. I was surprised to see that it was holding temp yesterday, but it did get to a low coolant light. So that means hopefully this reservoir is a little bit lower than it was before, and then all we need to do is just add more coolant. I've never done a coolant flush before, and specifically also never done one on an Aston Martin.
Specifically on an Aston Martin, it doesn't show you the coolant level on the
what a
reservoir.
silly design. Well, it's lower than it was. I hate that I have to just eye it each time.
How's it looking?
Pain. It needs a little more.
This is so dumb.
I'm gonna give it a dash more and then we'll be good. I think I'm just gonna go with that. That's pretty much.
And well, worst case, we just add a little bit more.
Yeah. I'd rather have to add more than find a way to take some out with like a turkey baster. So, it is near Thanksgiving though.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Let's get to the next step, which I'm slightly concerned about, as per usual. The next step in our maintenance process on the beautiful Aston Martin is to check the plugs and coils. This car sat for a super long time, and a good way to diagnose if there's anything going wrong in the engine is to pull the plugs and coils. It's great to check those spark plugs and see what's happening. We did this on the Porsche, and it was incredibly challenging because the engine design is a pain. On this car, it looks like it'll be a whole lot easier because you just pull this off, and then boom, coils. So I'm really hoping that we don't run into more stripped bolts and pain, but it's highly probable.
Yeah, I would say that's likely.
Yeah. So we'll just crack on with it then. Because the car's been sitting for so long, it's always good to check on key items like spark plugs and coils. On this car, the coil packs are super expensive, but the typical service interval is 70,000 miles. So I'm more worried about the condition of the spark plugs. Let's see how this one looks. Let me get this under the light.
Oh, that's looking dirty.
It's looking pretty dirty.
It's looking like we probably should get new spark plugs.
These are gonna be fine for the time being, but this is pretty gross. It's not horrible.
I mean, it's not horrible.
But it's not clean. So
yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit gross. Yeah, so that is not the best sign. So we're gonna need to get some new spark plugs for this car. These will work for now. We're not going anywhere crazy at the very moment. So we'll order some new ones. They're also not super oily, like on the tip, which is a great sign.
To be fair, a lot of the oil that's on those things is probably just from it sitting for so long and oil just like inevitably seeping through small gaps.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's not ideal.
We definitely have to order some new plugs, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we can reinstall this plug and coil and get ready for the final step in today's video, which should hopefully be a bit easier than anything else has been so far. But with this car, you never know. We do have one more step on the maintenance for the Aston Martin, and that is some new cabin air filters, because I don't want to be breathing in whatever is going on with this thing. How we install them? No idea. We're about to find out. We're gonna look this up, and then we're gonna install these, and then hopefully we should be good. Now on a normal car, it would literally take 1 minute to access the cabin air filter. But because it's an Aston Martin, you basically have to disassemble the entire lower portion of the passenger dashboard. With all of the trim, covers, and the entire glove box out of the way, we can take a look at the current filters.
Oh, wow. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's something.
This is what it should look like. And that's what, well, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That's drastic.
That's disgusting. Well, I'm glad we're changing those out. Oh my god. That's bad. Okay, airflow. Let's get that in.
Okay, I think that's in. And then the second one slides next to it. There we go.
With the new filters installed, we are reassembling everything and should be basically good to go.
There we go. And then
Plug it in. Nice. All right.
Beauty.
Maintenance completed somewhat.
Subscribe. This is my abandoned supercar, and it has some problems. Now, last video, we got the car actually working, and if you haven't seen that yet, you should check it out. But it still has a few things that need some attention. No door, no window, sagging headliner, no door over there. It's really a mess. So today, we're gonna restore this abandoned supercar's interior back to its former glory. And the news is, as per usual, I don't know how to do it. So you're gonna learn along with me, and we're gonna hope we don't make too many mistakes, but mistakes are inevitable. So let's give it a shot.
Another problem in the interior that we probably should deal with is this, which doesn't shut.
I have a plan though.
You have a plan?
Don't fret.
All right, he's got a plan for that. Then we'll fix that today. This side has a window, which is one less thing we have to do, and it means that we can look at this side to see how we can install the other side, which doesn't have any of that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of work to get done today.
We're gonna start with the sagging headliner. This is something that happens in these Aston Martins because the glue is not so great. It's really quite bad. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Oh, well, we might not even... Oh. This is the dreaded Cheeto dust.
It's up on my shirt.
Oh, gosh. So, well, that was easy. But now we also need to get this board out, and now that we've exposed this is all the old glue that's dried, and it's terrible. And it's also just gonna make a mess everywhere. So let's get the Alcantara out, try not to damage it. Hold on. Now that we have our headliner exposed, we do need to get this board out. And the scary part with that is you see all this leather. So what I've learned is Aston Martin, who already has parts that are hard to find because not a lot of people bought Aston Martins, nothing covered in leather is stocked at any of the dealerships or at the factory, which means if you break one of these leather pieces and any of its clips that go with it, you could be waiting months, which would set this entire project back and really be quite bad.
Also, there's no doubt in my mind that it's very expensive to get it from Aston Martin. If we do break it, not only will we probably have to spend thousands of dollars for pieces of this size, but we won't get it for a long time.
And on top of that, we've never done it before. So the chances of breaking them is incredibly high.
They're also British because they're brittle.
What?
Brittle because they're British.
To get the headliner out, you need to remove the A-pillars. And to do that, we have to disassemble the dashboard. Luckily, the clips aren't breaking yet, although it's always super scary to remove them. And now, with all the necessary panels off, we can take out the first A-pillar. We need to take off this whole entire Alcantara panel.
Oh, and look, it's already coming off in the back.
Oh, perfect. Well, that's helpful. And you see this? This is the cover to a fir tree clip. Do I know what that is? No. It sounds interesting. So I'm gonna eject this, and likely it will break. Highly likely. However, this piece is a little less scary than the other pieces, but we'll see what happens. Come on. Oh, I hear it crack.
Oh yeah, it's breaking real bad. Oh yeah, that's broken.
That's broken.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Worse than I expected.
Yeah, it's broken. This one too, probably gonna break.
Oh yep, it's breaking. Yep, there it is.
Yep. With the with the fur clips removed and pushed in, we now have access to a torque spit that goes in there. There's just two of them holding this on, and we should be able to get this off. Same procedure on the other side. Let's give it a shot. The holes to the torque spits seem like they're literally smaller than the bit itself. But with a bit of brute force and ignorance, I'm getting the bit to fit in and seat onto the screw that's holding the entire panel on. And now we can pull the first pillar out. Now, I've been told that these are flexible of somewhat. So we're gonna hope that's true.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god. Oh, things are falling. Alright, well that's one side.
Alright, and that is how you do it. So you want to try the other side?
Yeah.
All right, let's get after it.
The other side seems to be even worse. And after literally trying every single tool in the tool chest, it's looking like it's going to be one of those jobs that requires a hardware store run, which is always frustrating.
I'm doing the thing that car guys like to do the least. Admit defeat and go to the auto parts store. It's truly a travesty, but as you guys know, when you're working on a car, there's literally nothing worse than having to get all your tools out, look for everything, and then end up just having to drive. Jackson hates it more than I do, so I'm gonna go drive over to pick up the right torque spits, maybe some other stuff that we might need too, because we do have a lot of work to do. It also means I get to take the Raptor, which is kind of a vibe. I don't mind driving the Raptor. Listen to my 6.2 liter V8. Oh my God. This truck is so fast.
Armed with the new tools and a Dremel, which we are using to make holes just a little bit wider, we're finally able to loosen the screws that have been holding us back. Now we can get the A-pillar out, and we just have to remove a small panel in the front, which pops out pretty easily. We then have to unscrew the dome light, and now we can take out the headliner panel, which means we're at the hardest part of this job. All of the orange stuff that's all over this panel and the headliner Alcantara itself is glue. And we have to scrape all of it off and replace it, because it's no longer sticky enough to hold up the fabric. On the stiff headliner panel, I can use a paint scraper to get most of the residue off, and then I do the rest by hand. I have to be super careful to get everything off, because if the surface isn't completely flat, it will make the headliner look lumpy, and more importantly, it won't properly adhere. We have to do the same to the piece of Alcantara as well. But we can't use the scraper because we'd risk tearing a hole in the fabric. We're using rubber gloves instead and just rubbing the adhesive off by hand, which seems to be working well. And with all of it off, we're ready to re-glue the pieces together. We're using a spray adhesive, which makes it easy to apply evenly across the entire panel. We have to be super careful though that we don't get the glue on the Alcantara, because it could permanently stain it. The panel is the exact size as the fabric, so as long as we match up the edges, it should lay down perfectly. With the fabric glued down, we can let it set overnight, and then we'll be ready to reinstall everything.
Day 2, and this has dried quite nicely. For the first time doing something like this, it's not too bad. So we can go get this back in the car, reassemble, and then start working on some slightly more difficult stuff in the interior. So let's start reassembling.
With the right tools, reinstalling everything is much easier than taking it out. And thankfully, we seem to have glued the fabric on properly, so everything is still lining up, and somehow, none of the clips broke on any of the panels we removed. So everything is snapping perfectly back into place, which is incredibly satisfying.
And that pretty much wraps up the roof. Look at that. How much better that is. No more sag, not sitting on top of Will's head anymore. But we still have a lot to do, and we're saving some of the hardest stuff for last.
Today we were filming a podcast with the guys at Driver Seat ABS. They do cool stuff. We were on their podcast, which should be out soon, so check that out. But we were filming that, so we only got time to put this headliner back in, and then we're gonna come back tomorrow, and we are going to finish the door.
You will see us in 3. It won't be long for you. 2, 1. We're back, baby. And we are going to tackle some of the scarier stuff, such as the fact that this door has no window, nor a window regulator motor, nor a door card, but that's a problem on the other side too. However, we have a solution. Our friends at Aston Martin Boston, as you might remember, helped us get some parts for this car. One part that they also helped us get was this, which I'm sketchily storing in the back corner, which I probably shouldn't be because it's a very expensive window for this car. This is an incredibly unique looking piece of glass, hence why it's also expensive. I have never put glass in a car before, so I'm slightly scared that we're gonna break it. It's highly possible that we break it. And me and Will are not good at intricate stuff like this.
No.
First though, we need to get the window regulator motor in.
As you guys know, we're trying to make this Aston Martin better than a used one for the same price. So it's gotta be cheaper, but also more fun, sound better, look better, do better, all the stuff.
That requires that we spend not too much money. We already spent about, $31,000 in total. 25 for the car, some money for the clutch, some money for the badges.
The other things.
It adds up quick. This is about $400 even used. And if you buy it new, it's like $900. So I think I got a good deal, but we have no idea if it works. Those were about to be my famous last words. As we're unboxing the window motor, it's becoming obvious very quickly that it's very broken. A window regulator is basically an electric motor that pulls a metal wire along a bunch of pulleys, which raises the window up and down. The wire on ours is completely out of the track it's supposed to sit in, and the clips and holes that hold it into place are broken, which means it's completely useless and we'll have to order a new one. Not only does that mean we can't install the window today, but we also now have to spend even more money, which is not helping us stay within the budget on this car.
We have figured out that the door regulator came broken, and it's not good. Definitely not good, according to Jackson, and also facts. But that's the risk you take when you buy stuff used sketchy style online. And that's part of the fun that is trying to build a car for cheap. So we're gonna have to order a new one, and hopefully it'll come in time for us to get this video up. We're gonna have to just keep plugging away and do the other side and put the door card on so we can at least learn how to do that for this side. I also think we're missing the window switch for the other side. Got it? But yeah, not great. So we just wasted $400, and now we have to order another one for another at least $400.
Psych! There is a window switch on this one, so at least we have a small victory today.
Yeah, now I feel good.
We have to just learn, though, how this works. I'm gonna suspect we have a bunch of clips here.
We got this.
We've got this one that's clearly been welded back on. We've got a couple plugs that need to be plugged in. That's a weird. Okay, so let's give it a shot, everybody. The first step is to plug in the wires for the speaker, window switches, and the puddle light. On the Aston Martin, the door card basically just clicks in, and then there's a few small bolts on the bottom that hold it in place. With those in, we can install the armrest, which also includes the interior door handle. There's a metal wire we're attaching to the handle, and then 2 long bolts to keep it in place. With all that done, all that's left is to test if it works.
Imagine this, pulling up to dinner. I'm your wife right now.
Okay, wife, please. Allow me.
Oh, look at this guy.
Madam.
Now I'm gonna...
And now we can fix the glove box, which currently does not stay shut because the latch completely broke off of the door. Rather than buy a new trim piece, we're going to super glue the old one back in place. To ensure that it stays in place, I'm just gonna clamp it down and let it set for as long as possible. And now all we have left to do is wait for the new window regulator motor to come in so we can finish the driver's side door.
One eternity later.
You may have noticed I got a haircut because it's a different day, and that means new window regulator motor because the first one was a little broken. And this one,
fresh off the block,
is brand spanking new at quite a heavy cost of $500. So it was new, but not from Aston Martin, which means that
it wasn't $1,000.
Slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
And by slightly cheaper, 50% off. And it even has a special thing that tells you how to lift it up because apparently they can break, which I didn't know. So we're gonna be very delicate with it, but this one even has the foam, so that's how you know that's real nice and intact. I've never put a window regulator motor in. Will, have you?
No.
So this is gonna be interesting. As we're finding out, when it works, installing the window regulator itself is not too hard. Each metal slider has 2 studs on either end that line up directly with holes in the door. And the motor itself has 3 screws that go into it. We can't figure out what type of screws are used to secure the window regulator motor, but after a bit of searching the internet and being confused, we're finding out that it's literally installed with self-tapping screws from the factory, which makes no sense to me, but it seems to be working and we can now install the window.
Oh, that's clean glass.
This glass has never seen the light of day, nor have we. By the way, it is a little dark in this garage. We're gonna fix that very soon, and it'll be a lot better for all of us. It's also a little messy in this garage. Don't pan over, but it's messy. We're gonna fix that too. Look, we work in here. It gets a little messy. We get a lot of boxes and stuff, and then we don't know what to do with them. But we're gonna get better at that. I promise. It's gonna be a whole lot better. I swear. Okay. It's quite light, so we're gonna go in, right?
Yep.
Just in from the top, you think?
Yeah. I mean, it can't go in from the bottom. You're yeah. It goes through there, yeah. You have to, yeah, make that more.
Doesn't feel good.
Is it going into the right spot?
Almost. Just needs a little guidance.
Good luck getting into the other one without just pushing.
The problem is it doesn't just line up, it needs to be opened.
To secure the window regulator to the glass, there are 2 screws that go through holes in the window into clamps on the regulator. There are access holes in the door, but getting the screw to go in straight through those holes is one of the most frustrating things I've ever had to do on a car.
We've been struggling a lot with this tool because, to be honest, it's at a slight angle when you put it in, and it won't seat correctly. So I'm gonna try using this in between here, which means I need to be very careful. First, I'm just gonna plant it in with this, just to get it in the right spot. This is the best I can do. Hold on, I'm just gonna keep trying until this doesn't work. Because right now it feels like it is.
Huh?
Yeah, we're good.
You got it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is it straight on? I can't even tell right now where it is. I can't even move it now. Yeah, I can't push it. I can feel it with my...
It's down and to the right. It does look like it's in there now.
But it's still grabbing nothing. Oh, wait.
Oh no, it's fully in. Like you're good.
No way.
Yeah. It's coming out the other side now.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Dude, nice. That is a blind operation. You can't see
Yeah.
it.
You want to tighten it down a little bit?
With the right tools, the window is now properly attached. And now we can test it out to see if everything worked. But I'm a bit nervous for this.
This is scary.
What? It won't go any further?
It's good it goes down.
Yeah. The problem is up is more important to us, so you can put it outside. Oh, that's more up now.
It's having trouble with this thing over here.
Alright.
The window be acting funny. So we're gonna try a window reset that I found online and hope it works. And if it works, I'll be shocked. So it says, sit in the driver's seat, close both doors, and switch ignition to 0. That's 0. Press firmly and hold the window switch until the window is at maximum down position. Continue to hold the button for 5 seconds and then release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull back up and hold the window switch until the window is at maximum up position. Continue to hold the switch for another 5 seconds and then release. Yeah, it seems to have worked.
Pull it all the way up. Yeah, that's up.
Oh, me. My Aston window works great. It just,
Yeah, that part's not seating super well, but that's fine.
yes! We have a window!
Yeah, what
And it works!
what a
Rain
win.
won't come in now. Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's just me with an Aston Martin window now that works. Yeah, no, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Don't worry. Remember how we said we needed lights? Well, it's the next day, and we got lights this time around. So now you won't be so blind in the videos. You can see all beautiful parts of my face. So, with that being said, we still have work to do on the Aston Martin interior. I'm gonna grab where are the skippers? Where do those things go? Where do we put those things? Oh, got them. We gotta finish getting this interior sorted. Let me show you around what we're working with. As you saw, we got the window regulator. I can't say that word, but we got the window regulator motor in successfully. The window is now functioning. But now we need to get the door
that
card
speaker
on.
thing's coming up.
Oh gosh, everything's breaking.
Man, that was fine yesterday.
Oh man, it's just ready to get the door card.
Yeah,
Sealing
nice
it, you know?
press. Yeah, totally.
So first what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut this because let that hang loose for a minute. We're gonna need that to go somewhere in our door card, I think.
Yes.
And this should hopefully be straightforward because we did it on the other side. This has a bit more stuff to finagle with. Here's our door card. And like the other side, it's a whole lot of clips. And you really don't want to break these things. They're a little brittle because they're quite old.
Oh look, the screws for that are in there. How convenient.
That's amazing. Should we put that in?
Yeah.
All right.
That way.
This way?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I guess
It's the only way it
the
works.
only way it lines up. Gosh, what a silly design where you have to hold the door up and if it falls, you break the entire thing.
You know what you can do? Just unplug this.
Oh, genius. This is why we keep you around, Will.
You know me, bro. I got a good head on my shoulders and
Yeah,
such.
you've got a good IQ. It's high. Higher than mine. All right.
The bar is low though.
The bar is real low.
Getting the door card on is the same as the other side, and everything seems to be going well. Now we just have to try the window switch and the door handle to see if everything works.
Okay, now test.
What is happening here? That I don't understand. There's a science that I'm not getting.
That thing has to go somewhere, I swear.
All right, so we're missing a bracket. That makes sense.
I knew that was.
No, that makes sense. That does make sense. All right, well, we don't have that.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. In the interest of time, we're going to have to order the little bracket that goes into these two holes. Now in hindsight, we should have realized that those were for something.
Yeah, that looks like they're for something.
So we'll have to get that figured out. We are going to finally cover up our battery after all this time.
Backwards.
Oh man.
Almost. Dude.
That's fine.
Well,
That, my friends.
look at this. We went from a saggy headliner, which is no longer saggy, if you can tell. Saggy headliner, door cardless, window missing interior to
It works. It's
Yeah.
fast and it's fully put together, bro. This is so exciting. I have never done something like this before, so it's really rewarding. And I'm so excited to be going through it with you guys. This thing is absolutely sick. It's not perfect, but it's gonna get there. And this is definitely a step in the right direction. Look inside. No longer do you see exposed, weird wired door card. You see beautiful.
It's honestly a nice interior.
07 leather interior.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, look at that leather interior. There's still a problem.
If you ask a car guy what their favorite part of their car is, 9 times out of 10, they will say the exhaust. And that's because the way a car sounds defines a car's personality. And the Aston Martin, although it sounds alright, could sound way better with a bit of modification.
Which is why we have this. The probably loudest exhaust you can get for an Aston Martin V8 Vantage from our friends at Velocity AP. And we should probably unbox it. First, we have this. I gotta get it out, but. Oh,
That's a nice piece
so
right
nice.
there.
This is a mid-pipe, and it doesn't really add much except for this X section, which will make it sound really good. But that's not the most exciting part.
From factory, they don't have an X-pipe crossover, which means they could sound a lot better because it combines the tone, you get it all nice and equal, gives it more that like supercar sound. That will cause the exhaust to come together and make a beautiful noise.
As it should. V8s are some of the greatest sounding things on the planet, and this is the best way to enhance them. But let me show you the more exciting thing I'm stepping on. This is 1/2 of our new muffler.
Yeah, they are not much muffling to be had in there.
This is like a GT4 muffler, which means zero muffler and just bypass straight through. So that will clear up a lot of noise, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so this bad Larry goes something like this here. And there's usually a giant muffler, which I'll show you. This gigantic muffler right here turns into that. Nothing.
Second piece is right here, and then there you go. That's what the new exhaust is gonna look like. It's not only gonna be weight savings, because that is definitely lighter than the stock muffler, but it's also just gonna sound absolutely ridiculous. This might be the best sounding car once we're done, but you'll have to wait and see. So will we, because I have no idea, but I'm excited to put this on. Do I know how to put it on? No. But luckily, when the clutch came out, we had to drop a lot of the exhaust, so I do know how to do that now, I think. We haven't dropped the muffler once, so this is gonna be interesting, but I think the payoff is gonna be sick. Stay tuned.
Now I know it might not make perfect sense to basically straight pipe the car before I even get to drive it, but once the exhaust is on, I think you'll understand why I literally can't wait to put it on. The first thing we have to do is obviously remove the old exhaust. So we're starting by getting the car completely up in the air, and unfortunately, we still don't have a lift, so jack stands it is.
First step in getting your new exhaust on is to get the right socket. Hold on. First step is to take the old exhaust off. I'm getting better at guessing bolts.
Was that 13?
Yeah.
I guess I am too.
On most cars, the exhaust is broken up into 3 sections. The headers, which come directly off of the engine, the mid-pipe, which is the sector that runs along the bottom of most of the car, and the axle back, which in this case is a massive muffler. The new system we have replaces everything after the headers, retaining the factory catalytic converter so it's still fully legal, but amplifying the sound by getting rid of the gigantic factory muffler. Thankfully, all of these bolts were just off a few weeks ago when we did the clutch. So getting the mid-pipe out shouldn't be too difficult. And it seems like all of the bolts up front are coming out super easily. To access the rear end of the exhaust, we have to take off the rear under tray because the exhaust routes directly above it. To make life easier, we're going to remove the gigantic muffler before the mid-pipe so we have more room to access everything. The V8 Vantage has one of the strangest exhaust tip designs I've ever seen. The tip is actually bolted to the bumper and the muffler exits slide into it. We have to not only unbolt the exhaust from the mid-pipe and unbolt the hangers that hold it up, but also figure out how to slide it out of the tips. And because it's so big, there's hardly any room to do that. Luckily, it looks like there's a bit of adjustability on the muffler where it attaches to the tips. And with a bit of brute force and ignorance, and some help from my friend Jack, we can finally drop out the muffler.
Gotta pull it a little forward.
Yeah.
Or I guess backward. Oh.
Yeah, just go up on your side, Jackson, and you just drop it out. Very nice.
Oh my, a lot of weight savings.
Yeah, this thing looks heavy as hell.
That is dense.
No more of that, Garbo.
I almost worried that we're gonna have some dead air space up in here.
With the muffler out and a bit of hammer-induced persuasion, we can slide the mid-pipe off its hangers, which is now showing us we have a new problem to take care of.
So these screws, as you can see, they go into here, and as you can see, they're all rusty and stripped. And we need, not this bottom part, but we do need the top with these hangers. Worst case, we can use some new hardware on either side and do it, nut and a bolt. I could probably angle grind this off, but I shouldn't. I think it's time to bust out an angle grinder.
Let's do it.
Why not? It'll be the fastest method. I think it's gonna be, drilling them is gonna take time, and it's gonna result in the same thing. Brute force and ignorance, baby.
It's time to grind.
Don't do this at home. All right, and then like nothing.
Nice work.
That worked shockingly well. Yeah. I'm impressed with myself, honestly. And we can tighten these off the car, right?
Yeah.
Unless we don't want to put these in
No, tighten them off the car.
instead of putting this in and then putting it on
Yeah.
here.
It went in so easily, so it's like, why not just do it that way again? What are you doing? What the heck? That's the workstation right there, bro. That's weird as hell. I couldn't even do that if I wanted to.
With our hanger issue solved, we can install the new mid-pipe into the car. The hangers are sliding in perfectly, and although we forgot to order new clamps and have to reuse the old clamps, which are pretty beat up, with a bit of persuasion, we can get the pipes to slot into the headers correctly and tighten everything down properly. Now we can move to the back, where hopefully everything will be much easier because of how much smaller the new pipes are. Once again, everything is lining up perfectly, which says a lot about the quality of this exhaust. And with the old hangers reinstalled, the tips lined up to the new exhaust, and everything bolted back together, we can finally start it up for the first time with the new exhaust and take it for its first real drive.
The exhaust is installed. Now, the most exciting part, the startup, as long as it starts up. I think this is gonna be pretty loud. We got a whole crew to react to it, so let's get it done. Let's see how this goes. This is exciting.
It's gonna be quite loud, isn't it?
That's louder than it was.
Woo! I got hit by some juice. That sounds
That's a
sick.
good sound.
That sounds really
That's a good sound, man.
Oh, well, I guess we should take this thing for its first maiden voyage. Not today, but probably tomorrow.
One more just like that, bro.
Today's a very special day. Windshield is coated and the car is ready to drive. Let's listen to a cold start with the new exhaust. Since we got this car, we haven't really driven it more than a few hundred feet. So even though we just put a new exhaust on, this drive isn't just about seeing how good it sounds. We have to check if the new clutch is working, see if it overheats, make sure it's not misfiring, make sure the transmission can properly engage every gear, and most importantly, make sure the engine isn't knocking or blowing smoke anywhere. Because we don't know how the condition of the gas in the car is, the first stop is to the parts store to get some fuel additives to improve the quality of the gas in it, and then the gas station to add as much fresh fuel as we can. With all of that done, we can actually start to warm it up, give it a little bit of throttle, and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Feels pretty solid though, honestly. All things considered.
Yeah, no, not too bad.
Yeah.
It's gonna need some more driving and tinkering and stuff, which is, I guess, kind of just to be expected. But for a first drive in many, many years, it's not too bad.
It's a maiden voyage, man.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see a car that was like just so neglected now coming back to life. Like, this is what it's all about, man. This is so cool. And like
back to
testing,
life.
just like, huh?
So bringing it back to life.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my God, that sounds good. That's not even a high RPM. It's insane.
It's very delicious.
That is a chocolatey deliciousness. Don't go ham.
I would never do that.
That was ham. That's loud. Wow. It like, it crackled too. He went up. It definitely vibrates a little. All right, we should get out of here now. That is so incredible sounding.
It is good. I wish we could give you guys like a better exhaust clip, but we really shouldn't be ripping on it.
Yeah, we can't really do like a fantastic driving clip of it. But we'll try our best.
Everything seems like it's working well somehow, and aside from some clunky shifts because the transmission is relearning the new clutch, I'm honestly pretty happy with it. Now we have to do the most important test of any car. See if my mom likes it.
We decided to bring it by my mom's house to see what she thinks of it. Gotta get the mom approval on the vehicle.
Oh my God!
It works.
That is crazy. It's gorgeous.
Right? Sounds good, right? It's a little loud. Yeah.
I'm like, what the what? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so,
coming
were
together.
these seats here before?
Yeah, these are the original seats. They won't, might not stay there forever, but we'll see.
The middle looks so good.
Yeah, it's a nice car. Hey, this was like $140,000 car at one point in time, in 2007. Nowadays, it's certainly not. And then pull it open.
Hop in and give it a little rev.
Going for a spin. What are you talking about?
Okay. I didn't expect this was gonna happen.
Oh
It's
my
hilarious.
God, this is so,
Mom's driving the Aston.
so like, vroom, like sports car-y.
Yeah.
But
Just don't go too crazy.
I'm gonna be crazy. Crazy mom. Aston Martin.
Not too bad. It's a little touchy on like
Well, it's
slow speed because the transmission is
So
still
it really
learning.
just wants to go fast, like.
No, it's just we put a new clutch in and the transmission has to learn the new clutch. So it's not totally.
There's not a clutch.
But it's like that without a stick.
Okay.
So it's the same system, but it's like, yeah, see how it sort of
come it
shifts
does
like a
that?
manual
Yeah.
car?
Oh, I got you.
Because that's a downshift. It's like, it's just an old system. So it's not driving like your Mercedes does.
Definitely. Way to go, Captain
Vote of
Crankshaft.
confidence.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
like if
not
you
bad.
took this on the Mass Pike, would it go like roll like?
Oh yeah, it's fast.
Sweet ride. That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's great. Okay, wait. So then neutral?
Yeah, neutral, and then just
I've
pull
never seen this.
If you take the handbrake's on your left, just pull it up and then drop it down, and it's now the brake's on.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a weird handbrake system. You just gotta turn the key.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm really proud of you guys.
Thank you.
What's next? Where's my Woody?
She wants a Woody wagon, which will happen at some point. We're gonna build her dream car.
Yeah, we are working.
So
65 or 61? What are we thinking for me? Am I going to get it for my 61st birthday? Or my 65th
We would love for that to
birthday?
happen.
I hope
Maybe like
61st.
62nd.
60
yeah,
seconds. Okay.
we're gonna aim for 62nd.
62.
She's 48 right now.
That's right.
I thought you were 34.
That's right.
I got plenty
Again,
of time.
39 again. You got plenty of time.
So we
oh,
should be
it's
good.
really great.
Mom approval.
Great.
You can have this
Mom,
one.
2
instead.
thumbs up from me.
There is a lot of things that we have yet to take care of. One of which is the brakes, which is where we're gonna start today. These brakes that are on the car are the original brakes. And while it hasn't gone very far, the brakes are pretty seized on, and they're not great.
By the way, if we seem cold and miserable, it's 40 degrees in the garage right now.
41.
41. Ooh, we got the heaters running, but they're not doing too much because this garage is not well insulated.
This car is designed weird, man. The jack point, most cars, have a very easy to spot place where you're supposed to jack it from. This car, it is the entire rail that runs underneath, but the fun part about that is the side skirt also wraps around that.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to crunch the side skirt a little bit. I don't know how they do it at Aston Martin. There must be some very ridiculous creative solution to that problem. Or not.
Or they just mess up your car. And you hear all the cracking noises. It's great. Hell yeah.
Okay, so these...
Oh, nice. Okay, this isn't too bad.
It's looking like this will be relatively straightforward, I hope. It always seems simple and then you run into problems. I've done plenty of brakes before though, so. I'm so glad that we're back in our
Home
spot
turf,
working
bro.
on this car, because when we're working on the BMW at the other shop, we don't got no flashlight breaker bar. All right.
Oh,
There's
dude.
nothing quite like it.
It's so good.
Have a 100% success rate with the flashlight breaker bar.
Never failed you once.
My neighbor, when I was a kid, moved out of his house, and the house was empty. And this was sitting on the front steps, and I took it, and it was the dimmest flashlight in history. At one point, I needed a breaker bar, and I thought, that looks like it could be a breaker bar if I took all the batteries out.
Boneless.
So this is the boneless flashlight. It's no longer in
Dude, that was clean, bro.
Yeah, thanks. I've been playing with this thing for a long time. But yeah, so honestly, that's the flashlight breaker bar, and it's a beauty. If you don't have one of these in your home shop, find yourself a mag light. Take the batteries out and
Put that thing to work.
that thing to work. It's just a beaut, honestly.
Oh, look at this guy.
It's all thanks to the flashlight breaker bar. Oh my gosh, this is the simplest.
Is it leaving the pads behind?
No, it's not. These pads have a ton of life in them.
Yeah, they're just old. Oh, dude, stop doing that. Oh my god. Oh, stop.
Nah, man, chill out, man.
Just get like something that can go under there. Oh my god.
Something that is challenging sometimes with brakes is set screws. These rotors have these like always funky set screws, and they're never
These ones
easy.
look rusty as a biscuit.
They do indeed.
You still do it by hand. You're tightening it.
Well, that would be a problem, huh?
Yeah, you're tightening it.
Oh my gosh, I hate that this thing rotates.
We should have taken those set screws off while the caliper was still on.
Yeah.
Note to self for the other side. Oh, good.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I told you these might be a challenge.
This is why I don't use these when I put brakes on cars.
I don't put these back on, actually. I'm glad we're in the same boat for that. These set screws are not, like, they're not really necessary.
We probably should soak them in WD-40.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds like a real smart move. I'm gonna soak this thing. This has 2 set screws, too. Most cars just have a single set screw.
Why, man? Why they gotta do us like that?
That's chow.
I bet they all have 2 set screws too, just cuz.
Yeah, no, probably.
Just cuz.
Okay, let's try this one, shall we?
Oh
yeah, no, it's properly not great. It broke. Uh-oh.
Why?
It's gonna be one of them situations where we gotta get hardened steel out of a thing we don't want to get hardened steel out of.
Why?
We've had one of those before. When we broke extraction bits.
Why?
And I just broke that.
I think it's brand new, bro. It's fresh out the box.
Yeah, I wasn't used to these kinds of conditions. Me and you is what those conditions were. With the bolts stripped, we have no other option but to painstakingly drill them out. Because the hardened steel tip of my Torx bit is stuck in the bolt, this is gonna take a long time. The other set screw is stripped as well, so I'm gonna start with that one, which is actually drilling out quite nicely. And after a few minutes, it's good to go. The other one though, not so much. After about 10 minutes straight of drilling, I'm still not getting anywhere. So I think it might be time for a more aggressive approach. All right, well, the brute force and ignorance continues. And it's always when you work on a car that one bolt ends up being the bane of your existence. And in me and Will's case, it's this bolt here, and it's very early on in the process of doing these brakes. So we could very well run into more problems, and I'm sure we will. But we have a strategy that we've learned a while back in the old oil change days when this car needed every single bolt cut off of it pretty much. But luckily for us, we're veterans in this. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna angle grind a line, and then we're gonna attempt to bang it out with our specialty tools here. This is always fun. After some more drilling, cutting, and drilling again, it looks like this rotor is finally ready to come off, which is honestly a huge relief.
Well, I'm gonna choose. It's wiggling.
Oh my days.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I have to hit a little bit. No, that was so easy, man. Yeah, that's super simple right there. That was bad.
With the rotor off, we can test fit the new rotor, and then tomorrow we can finish the rest of the car, which will hopefully go better than today did.
It's still 40 degrees in the garage. And we're back to finish off the brakes. We made no progress yesterday, really, because we got screwed over.
The pads are upstairs.
Oh, go get those. We are back.
Today.
We're back with vengeance. And we're gonna get all these brakes done so we can drive this bad Larry. Will this be a good video? That's for you to decide. But it's stuff we need to do, and sometimes working on cars is not the most elegant thing in the world. So, here we are. This car is coming out really nice, and we have something really, really cool coming for it, as we've been saying. But like, I can't even comprehend how cool it is, because it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be the coolest Aston Martin on the internet, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for that, probably a couple more weeks. But until then, we just gotta get it to being a functioning Aston Martin. There he is, Mr. Brake Pad himself.
I got some pads.
So, got something to look forward to.
We still have to change the front pads, but luckily they're actually super easy on this car. There are 2 pins that you have to hammer out of the caliper, which hold the pads on. And then the old ones fall right out. You can then slip the new ones in, reinstall the pins, and you're good to go. Now we can start on the back wheel, which will hopefully give us less problems. That's all.
Nice.
To get that off. That's so nice. Oh wait, we should leave that on and do that.
Yeah.
And hope and pray that these things turn.
Yes!
There we go.
WD-40.
That's a fantastic feeling right there.
One more. Yeah! Yeah, man.
That's nice.
Wow. What a vibe.
That just saved us an hour of work.
Probably 2 hours. What a vibe.
With the set screws out, replacing the rotor and pads is basically the same process as the front.
So now we can reinstall the wheels and head over to the other side where hopefully everything goes as smoothly as this one did.
I thought it snapped off in there for a second.
I know, I keep getting scared that that's gonna happen again.
Did it slip?
I'm just scared. It's already stripped. I don't think there's anything left to get.
Fuck.
It's toast.
Time to get the drill going.
Unfortunately, we stripped another set screw, so we have to break the drill back out and sit here patiently while it slowly chews through the screw. I think we might have worn these drill bits out on the other side, but after a few minutes, it looks like the rotor's finally ready to come off. There you go. Will has finessed it.
Finally.
Now we can install the new rotor and pads and move on to the final corner, which I'm hoping won't cause any issues. I got one.
Hell yeah.
That's one that we don't need to drill. Come on, please. I think I got it, yeah.
Yes!
Oh,
Let's go, baby!
scary.
Woo!
Thankfully, this corner went perfectly, and we can finally install the last set of brake pads and the final new rotor.
Hey, nice job.
Brakes are complete, but we're not done yet. We have
The brakes aren't actually complete.
Oh yeah,
We just solved
we
the
gotta
biggest problem.
we gotta bleed the brakes.
15-year-old brake fluid. Not good.
Not good. That's a fluid that we didn't replace last time when we were replacing fluids.
We saw a lot of you comment about it. And we are taking care of it. We were going to do it in this video anyways, but we do appreciate you guys looking out for us because 15-year-old brake fluid boils easily and doesn't break well. And if we go fast, we want to go slow too.
A big problem for me and Will. Bleeding brakes is actually a fairly simple process. One person sits inside of the car pumping the brake pedal, and the other opens little nozzles on the calipers allowing air, and in our case, old brake fluid, to escape. It's a bit boring, but on our car that sat for so long, it's super important. While we're bleeding the brakes, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor, Auto Tempest. It's open. Close it. If you've ever searched for a car, you know how annoying it is to go from site to site just to find what you're looking for. Luckily, Auto Tempest solves that problem. They put everything in one place, so all you need to do is one single search, which saves you a ton of time and helps you find the exact vehicle that you want to buy.
Open it.
Open.
Close it.
Closing it. I've used Auto Tempest to buy pretty much every single car, excluding this one because a stranger DM'd us, but every other car that I've bought has been purchased through Auto Tempest, and that's because it's really the easiest way to get a car. All you do is you enter the information of the car you want, click search, and you know you're seeing every single result in one place. So, all right, opening, closing. So you should check out Auto Tempest down in the link in the description. And trust me, it's going to change the way that you buy cars, and you'll probably just end up doing what I do, which is staying up late at night, looking at every single vehicle on there because you do find some cool stuff. And if you find something super cool, DM it to me on Instagram. I'm always in the market for something interesting. Now we can finish bleeding the brakes on every corner and reinstall the wheels, and hopefully our brakes are safer and better than ever. Now we just have a few more things to take care of. In our haste building this car and putting it all back together, we missed a few small things, or we didn't do a few small things correctly. We have a few things that need to go back on the car, and we have a few small things that we just need to adjust on the car because we're getting the car ready for something that I have not seen on YouTube before. You guys should be excited about it. It's not here yet. We're waiting for it to arrive, but we want this car ready to go for when that happens. So we're gonna make a few small adjustments. And the first thing is there's an exhaust leak because we didn't tighten something down all the way. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Should be pretty easy. These are the types of things that you kind of ignore, I feel like, or you just get excited about the new part, you put it on, and then you forget to fix it later down the line. But we're gonna take care of it today because we're proactive. Sometimes. Today we're proactive. Luckily this should be much easier than the brakes. Only one clamp seems to be loose, so I just need to tighten it down and it should be good to go. With that out of the way, let's move on to problem number 2 that we missed. Which is the fact that this window is a bit wonky. Let me observe.
Oh.
And I think a lot of the problem, to be honest, lies with the fact that it's chewing up all the rubber and it's not seating correctly.
Could be.
Could be the problem. Let's fix it and see if it is. We're gonna use this here pick to hopefully. Oh jeez. But let me get the inside one too for good measure.
Inside one's good.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so we figured it out. And now it closes nice.
And the seal is functioning properly. Nice. This is a $10,000 body kit from China. And this is my cheap supercar, a 2007 Aston Martin Vantage that was abandoned at a body shop for 15 years, and I just finished rebuilding it to its former glory. You may be wondering then, if I just finished rebuilding it, why would I want to cut it up and destroy it with a body kit? Well, that's because I'm stupid. Really stupid. But also because we set out with a goal to build this car to be cooler than a stock Vantage for cheaper than it would have cost to buy a good used one. And when the project was coming to an end, we realized it just wasn't there yet. So we did what anybody would do. Spend $10,000 on Alibaba ordering a body kit that we didn't even know actually existed and wait for it to come in. And 6 months later, it's finally here. So now we get to see if we actually made a really cool purchase or completely got scammed. Let's find out. Let's open our little Chinese Widebody kit. It came in 2 gigantic crates that have hinges, but
They don't do anything.
they don't do much. They give you access to view a lot of bubble wrap. We need something to break it with.
I can't believe it's here.
I can't believe it's here either.
We ordered
I
this
can't.
6 months ago, and we've just been waiting.
Watch out for the nails. Oh,
Nicely done.
Perfect. All right, let's see what's up.
Oh my God.
Let's see if we actually got our money's worth.
wow, I'm actually nervous about this, and I'm normally not nervous about stuff. Side skirt? Yeah.
We just want to see the quality generally of any of this stuff because with fiberglass body kits, you can get unlucky.
How does it seem? That looks pretty nice.
Doesn't look, to my untrained eye of what I've seen people talking about with these things, it looks pretty good.
It's all about the fitment.
Yeah. It is all about the fitment, but also if the fiberglass, if they don't fill it with enough glass. This is a Fender.
Oh my God.
Nice.
There's another side skirt.
Just gonna stack them.
I want to put it on the car right now.
Me too. This is crazy.
Holy.
Holy bro, you're gonna have exposed tire galore on
We're
this
gonna
thing.
need some big spacers. This is gigantic. This is probably where the stock body ends. We're gonna hold.
Yeah, it's to like here. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Sorry, that was dude, I'm so excited. This is crazy. Now that we know the body kit actually exists, it's time to undo a lot of the work we did to make this Aston Martin actually nice. And the first step is to take the entire front end off. So let's do it.
So we take these 2 bolts off and then unplug this little thing here.
Okay, so those are 2 different bolts completely on my side there.
Oh, and mine are the exact same.
Oh, on mine now, but they have a ground attached to it.
Come on!
Hood off. That's a light hood.
Yeah, that is pretty light.
Alright. I wonder if the new hood is lighter or less.
Probably lighter.
Oh my God.
Try not to scratch the hood, man. Now that we're hoodless, we should be getting these fenders off because I think it's easier. It looks easier. You can see all the bolts that go up, and I think there's bolts behind the door, if I remember correctly. It's been a minute since we've done this.
And there's that strut for the door.
And there's a strut for the door that's really a pain. So we're gonna have to disassemble and then reassemble as one. So I guess fenders off now.
Yep.
Oh God, they're the worst, I forgot. It's such a pain to get to. With all of the bolts that are exposed removed, we can get the car up in the air and start digging a little bit deeper to fully remove the fenders.
When are we gonna be rocking this out? Yeah, that does. And a reveal.
Okay.
Alright.
Yep, okay.
Alright. Oh, there's a thing that's on the wire. Getting there. We're about to have like an exoskeleton car.
picture. Wow.
That is insane and different.
I mean, this one's actually pretty wide. All things considered,
This is
but yeah, that's
significantly
crazy.
wider. Holy crap. This is gonna look ridiculous. Now we just have to remove the fender on the other side and take a couple of bolts out that hold on the bumper and grille. And we finally have a blank slate where we can start test fitting out the front end of the body kit. We now have the entire front end off and it literally looks like a tube frame go-kart. This thing is
It's basically what it is.
weird.
They just took a bunch of like steel girders that they had laying around and they're like, oi bruv, let's build a supercar now, bruv.
So with the front end fully off, I think we should be able to now bolt all the new panels on. The one thing that might get in our way is the side skirts, but this is going shockingly smooth so far, and we're of course saving the hardest part for last, which is the rear. But I'm hoping that everything fits. That's gonna, it should be easy as long as everything fits.
So fenders first, then bumper.
Let's grab this fender first. This is gonna be sick. I'm so excited.
I'm actually really excited to see it, yeah. Please, just fit normally-ish.
Side skirt might just be out of the way.
Okay. Oh, because this goes all the way down to the ground, and the side skirt goes behind it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's put that back over there.
Damn.
I was wrong. It doesn't fit up easily, and that's because the side skirts are getting in our way because it's kind of a different setup. At least that's the hope. I hope that that's the only reason why it's not fitting up correctly. So let's pull the side skirts off, and the only way to do that, because these jacks go under the side skirts, I don't know why. Great design. We have to put the wheels back on, drop it down, find a way to take the side skirts off, which I've never taken off in my life, and I actually don't even know how they come off.
Two.
So the reason we're having so much trouble is the side skirts go literally down and underneath onto the jack points, which means the jack has to be on and it's a pain. But look at this. Look in there. There's 2 bolts hanging on in there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, this is in the face. After lifting the car up and down quite a few times, and eventually just resorting to pure violence, we have the side skirts off. And now we should actually be able to test fit the first fender.
Oh, what?
I'm just trying to figure out where this goes.
It goes like that, cousin.
Yeah, it fits good, it fits good.
Push that in.
They just need to be oh my god. Well, once it's bolted down.
What did you just do, man?
Nothing, it actually slid into the spot.
Well, no.
Yeah, it did.
It needs to be backwards.
Oh, it needs to come so much more in, too.
Look at the door lines.
Well,
Looks good to me.
Because we're not all in the hole we need to be. It has to be there somehow.
Hey, look above.
No, I know. But you have to see what I'm talking about. The reason it's bent up is this giant arm right here. I guess.
Take that arm off. Well, that's actually fine.
That's much better.
Oh, okay.
We're not fine.
What?
We're not at all on the bolts.
That's way better than it was.
Yeah, it's still off. We need to trim.
All right, we can do some trim.
So we've learned that the front fenders have a little bit of a problem, or at least this one, because we won't know about the other one until we get over there. But the problem that we're seeing is when it's all the way lined up where it's supposed to be, the bolts don't really line up exactly where they need to go.
The bolt hole is here, and the hole there is there.
Along with the headlight and the front bumper portion are little, they also need to move back.
Yeah, the whole fender needs to slide backwards, basically.
Exactly. So our thinking is that it all looks like it's just an excess of material. We are now going to attempt, we've made some purchases, and that is an air belt sander. And we are going to very slowly trim this piece, which should allow us to move it up and in a little bit, which should hopefully line up all the bolt holes. Once that's lined up, we may run into some rubbing with the door, and we'll just have to trim a little bit of that. So this is gonna be a very game of fine tuning, which is not typically Will and I's strong suit, but we're gonna have to become good at it because we don't have any experts here to help us. Usually when we do something this complicated, we team up with people who've done it before and know what they're doing to explain to us idiots how to do it. But this is me and Will flying blind. And I know sometimes we do stuff a little sketchy, but we are trying to do this as correctly as we possibly can. So we're going to use a belt sander for the first time ever.
Yeah, and if we do mess this up, that is $10,000 down the drain.
Yeah.
And we destroyed the side skirt.
So we're gonna be
So more than $10,000 down the drain. So we really have to make sure we get this right the first time.
The fear of ruining the entire project in the back of our heads, we have to start gingerly trimming away at the body kit, which is absolutely terrifying. We have to go very slowly, because you can always trim off more, but it's not as easy to add material. So the plan is just to trim a bit and test fit it, repeating the process over and over until we hopefully get it right. Still off, obviously, but
Is it seeming like it's working?
yeah.
It does feel that way, no?
What?
That it's working.
It does. The holes seem to be a little closer. That's where we'd be, right? There's a high spot there. After a good amount of trimming and test fitting, we're starting to realize this might not work. And it could actually be causing another issue, so we need to change plans. The plan was going very smoothly until we realized the body line won't line up if we cut any more material. So what we're gonna do instead is add material, which you can apparently do with fiberglass, and Will is gonna attempt to do after watching many tutorials. And then we should be able to get new bolt holes drilled in and line it up properly with the body line of the car. You don't want this to be too far off from that, otherwise you have a problem. So we're gonna see if Will is able to do this here. I'm scared. And Will has done this apparently once, so he says.
I have messed around with fiberglass one time, but not in this capacity.
It's quickly becoming very obvious that fiberglass is not easy to work with, and Will has no idea what he's doing. Fiberglass is basically just a bunch of fibers held together by epoxy. And unfortunately for Will, he's not doing a good job at getting everything together in one spot. And because I don't know what I'm doing, it might be time to come up with a different solution. Remember when I said that we had a new plan? That plan also didn't work because me and Will can't do it. We're bad at it. We don't know how it
Fiberglass
works.
sucks, man.
It sucks. I'm scared of it. It doesn't really make itself very easy to work with. So we have called an expert and gotten some sage advice. The body line does fit up actually pretty well. If you ignore the bolt holes altogether, the kit goes on and it fits the space well.
Ish.
But we've been trying to move the kit to the bolt hole, and by doing that, we could risk shifting it off the body line itself, and then it would look terrible, but it would bolt up. So what we've been told to do, line the kit up exactly where we think it should go, drill holes through the kit into this aluminum frame, and then we're going to insert a threaded thing into this, and then it should screw into that. Look, I'm not gonna explain any longer. Let's just show you.
We're bringing the holes to the kit
Yeah,
rather than bringing the kit to the holes.
that's the way you should be doing
And that's what we were told to do because it makes way more sense to do it that way if the kit lines up fine everywhere else. So we're stupid, and that's fine. So let's drill some holes.
We want to do this as cleanly as possible. So to minimize drilling, we're lining up the kit as best as we possibly can, and then drilling directly into the frame through the kit so the holes all line up perfectly. With the holes all cleaned up in the body kit and the frame, now we can use a new tool we called a riv nut gun that works very similar to rivets, but inserts a threaded nut into a hole, making it so you can bolt something to it. It's an awesome tool, and I'm starting to think it might actually work. We have now officially moved the holes to the kit, which sounds crazy and difficult, but it's actually the easiest thing we've done yet. All we had to do was insert these little threaded things, and now we can thread things into the car. Genius, easy, shockingly simple actually. I'm a big fan of this nut gun.
He was a non-believer until we got it here in person, and then, oh, it's so easy. Oh, you're a genius, Will. You're the smartest person I've ever met.
I haven't said that. That's a lie.
No, he did.
That part's
He did. He
fake.
said it off camera.
Before we permanently install the fender, we have a few more things to take care of. The door slightly clips the edge of the fender, so we have to trim that down. And we also have to cut a bit of the bracket that sits under the fender, otherwise the fender itself will hit it and won't sit flush at all. With that done, we're finally ready to mount it up. I don't love that this one has no thing. It won't be able to bear a lot of weight.
What?
I won't be able to tighten this one. Hey, that's tight there. Now I'm starting to move it down. How down are we trying to go?
We can also adjust the headlight a little bit. That's good. It's actually not that bad. We finally got a fender on, and as you can see, it's not perfect fitment, but it actually works all right. It's definitely
Too much cutting here.
yeah.
Fix that.
We messed that up. We did cutting there. That's on us. But we have a new problem when we're looking at this fender, and that is the fact that Aston Martin puts the ECU inside of the fender, and on the other side we had to cut all the way to here, and we didn't have a giant ECU sticking up, so we're gonna have to cut along this as tight as we can, cut as much of that as we can without damaging the ECU.
Then we have to hope that the hood actually lines up with everything.
Yeah, well, that's a later problem.
Yeah, that's
I'm worried
one
about
problem
cutting
at
the
a time,
ECU
man.
right now. I'm not even thinking about that. But we have to do that. And that's scary. Because if we mess up the ECU, we can't afford to fix that because I'm sure that's thousands of dollars.
That's the brain of the car.
Yeah, that'd be like trying to...
Why do they put their brain on the outside?
That'd be like trying to cut off this part of my skull, shave my skull without damaging my brain.
With an angle grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
So we're about to do a craniotomy with an angle grinder.
We're about to perform a lobotomy on the coupe.
Now before we perform a lobotomy on the coupe, as Will so eloquently said, I want to check the fitment on the other side of the kit. To do that, we're going to install the side skirt, which for now is just held on by a few bolts in the door sill. And then we can also tape up the rear quarter panel to see how this is all going to look. And honestly, it's insane.
Alright, well this is vague, but... what the are we doing, man?
I'm never sure, bro, but I like it.
I don't even...
I think this, look, it don't look like nothing yet. But once it's done, if we get it done, I think it'll look really cool. Or it'll all fall apart.
This is by far, and we've done some dumb stuff on this channel. This is the stupidest thing ever, and I think it's because it was my idea, and I did force him into this a little bit.
When
I
someone
won't
blindly
lie.
asks you to spend $10,000 without ever knowing if something's gonna show up, and from a website that's super sketchy.
This was for him making me buy the Raptor. I made him buy a stupid body kit.
It wasn't far off price-wise.
Yeah, honestly, this is like half a Raptor, and it's horrible. I'd rather half a Raptor, but it's gonna be cool.
Make it work, it'll be cool. But until then, I think this is the most we can do right now, and the next video, we'll see if we destroy the ECU and destroy the car, and if anything else breaks, and if we die trying. With that fender, on that side, we were able to get it in relatively easily, but on this side, we have an ECU in our way, and a bracket for the ECU. Now I think that the ECU should be fine, but we need to shave this entire front of the bracket off in order to potentially make it fit. So it's time to lobotomize the coupe. And I'm gonna don my safety gear because my mom will get mad at me otherwise. And hopefully not completely destroy it. I'm scared.
Before we do any cutting, we have to remove the ECU itself from the bracket. When you're messing with ECUs, it's always good to disconnect the battery first, because if you mess with it plugged in, you can cause some serious electrical problems in your car. Because basically all the wires in the car are routed straight to the ECU, it would be ideal if we didn't have to move it at all. With that done, we can unplug the ECU itself and unbolt everything holding it in place. Then, with it out of the way, we can start to modify the bracket. With the bracket mostly removed, we can now try to reinstall the ECU, which luckily still bolts up. And now we can test if the fender fits properly, which I'm still not so sure about.
All right.
We're still hitting something.
Yes, we are.
The question is what?
The question is answered by ECU.
By how much is the next question, because we're going to cut probably a lot.
Yeah, it's that edge.
That's actually the ECU.
And we would need quite a bit.
What if we throw the ECU down?
But that's where the mounting bracket is, and all the cables run.
No, just like put a spacer on it.
That's not a horrible idea, actually.
Spacer what? Pushing it downward?
Like, yeah, we could use like something like socket size.
We have more room down?
Yeah, we do. It would just sit like down here.
In order to move the ECU down, we're gonna use some slightly oversized nuts and longer bolts on one side, and to stay true to the crankshaft roots, we're gonna zip tie the other side. Thankfully, we aren't having any wiring issues by just moving it down a few inches. And with the ECU moved down, we can see if the fender fits better. And I really hope it does.
I think we're still hitting it.
There we go.
We're still hitting it.
I'm in. We are hitting it, but is it?
Yeah, it's holding this whole thing up. I can feel my finger.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, definitely.
After trimming even more of the bracket, the fender still doesn't fit. And unfortunately for us, it's actually banging into the ECU. So we're gonna have to solve that. And the way we're gonna do it is just a little scary.
So, we test fit it again. It's still hitting here. So now I have to do something that I don't want to do, and that's cut the edge of the ECU off.
Now, I don't trust myself, and I don't trust Will, but I trust Will more than myself.
Just really honestly insane.
Trimming the ECU is very scary for multiple reasons. The first is that cutting and sanding on the ECU can cause it to vibrate a lot, as well as get pretty hot, risking damaging the computer inside. The second is that we don't even know if it'll fit when we trim it down, so we could be doing all of this for no reason at all, and then end up destroying the ECU for the fender to still not even go on. There we go. With the ECU trimmed down as much as we feel comfortable with, now we have to try fitting it again. And if this doesn't work, I'm honestly not sure what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, and look at this. This time we don't have anything bad happening. That's pretty good. With the fender fitting as best as we can get it, now we can install it the same way we did on the other side, without all the headache this time. We do this by lining the fender up where we want it to stay and drilling holes through the fender into the frame. With the holes made, we can insert threaded rivets with this machine, and now we're almost ready to bolt the fender to the car. With body kits like this, things usually just don't fit right. And for us, that's definitely the case. Cheap fiberglass body kits, especially ones that aren't purchased frequently, are often made with fairly low quality molds. This body kit has probably only been made 4 to 5 times, so the quality is lackluster at best, making all the panels slightly different and causing issues. In our case, it's causing the door to catch on the fender, so we have to do even more trimming. Fortunately, we have the right tools, and with a bit of trial and error with our belt sander, I think I have enough clearance to open the door. So let's test it out. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's bolt her up, baby.
With the door fitting properly now, we can bolt the fender down fully to its final position, which although seems like a simple task, feels like a huge victory. Sometimes working on cars can be incredibly frustrating when you hit some kind of roadblock that stops you from completing what you set out to do. But once you finally get it right, there is literally no better feeling. We have both fenders on by some miracle. And now we want to get the front bumper on and test fit the hood so we can see what the entire front end looks like before we get to all the scary stuff in the back that requires cutting parts of a very expensive car.
Yeah.
So,
but look at this.
This looks sick.
God dang.
It fits shockingly well.
When we mount it the right way, it's not bad. I mean, granted, there's a bit of.
Yeah, but if you just push.
Yeah, but yeah.
You see, once the wind travels over this panel,
Yeah, it's gonna create a lot of downforce.
it'll create downforce, and then it will sit perfectly flush with the head. Well, by perfectly flush, I mean about 75% flush with the headlight.
To be honest though, since we put the car together the first time, it already kind of fit terribly. So, as Daily Driven Exotics would say, it's because race car is why it doesn't fit well, not because we don't know what we're doing.
With some questionable fitment issues aside, we can finally do something I've wanted to do so badly. Look at the new hood. Feel of the hood.
Oh man, please don't be violent with it. Jackson's a violent guy.
That's not true.
Yes.
He's making me out to be a violent.
No, not violent with people. Violent with stuff that you shouldn't be violent with. Henceforth, things break.
There's wood in here.
Yeah.
The wood modification.
Would you believe it? Oh.
No, it does not. That looks so crazy.
Wow.
Oh my God. All right.
With the hood living up to my insane race car expectations, now we can install it. Installing the hood should actually not be super difficult. But because we're installing an Alibaba body kit, there are still some issues. With aftermarket hoods, reusing the factory hood latches, releases, and rubber bump stops is pretty common. The difference with our kit is we actually have to drill out the holes that they sit in. And if we don't get it right, the hood won't fit properly, which would honestly not be super ideal. Rather than just use a massive drill bit and hope for the best, we're slowly taking away material with the belt sander until the brackets fit just right. It's kind of a slow process, but it's worth it for a better final result. And with all the holes ready and parts installed, we can finally fit the hood up to the struts and see what everything looks like. Okay, it's not perfect. That's a lot of gap.
No, but...
There's less on that side. That's a pretty interesting gap happening there.
Dude, it's a race car.
This has some really bad panel gap.
Up and
Yeah, but that's the point.
That's not the point. You hate panel gap.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what we're gonna do about that.
We'll fix it somehow.
The front top of that one's fine, the bottom of this one's fine.
So then we need to just push that over that way a little bit.
So I think the hood is just off kilter. The hood does have a bit of adjustment built into it, and after a bit more trial and error, it seems to be lined up a little better. Unfortunately for us though, it's not enough adjustment to fit perfectly. So rather than dwell on that, we're gonna finish up installing the front end and look into a solution for the fitment after the full kit is installed. So now we just have to take care of the bumper. We have pretty much the full front end together here. We just are missing the front bumper and this giant lip in the front, which we're gonna have to figure out a way to support. But in the meantime, these two holes, this one and this one, those fit perfectly, which is unique for this kit. We've had some trouble getting the bolt holes to line up. This one does. These holes also line up with the holes in the kit itself down here. They just aren't threaded. So we've had to find bolts that will work, and hopefully this will be pretty smooth. Another issue we found with this kit is that the holes are basically all different sizes. So Will is taking care of the boring task of drilling all the holes out to the right size. We also got the wrong size washers, so Will has to drill those out too. And with all that done, we can start to line the bumper up and bolt it down. The front end, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. It well needs some adjustment, but in the meantime, that'll work. We're gonna need to do the back now, which is terrifying, and I'm scared. If you're wondering about this and why that looks not perfect, it's kind of angled up a little, we'll solve that. We have a solution to that problem, but let's get the whole kit on first and worry about that later because now we have to take care of the rear end, which we already know won't be easy. With the front end done, we're moving to the back end, and we gotta take this entire rear bumper off first, and then I think the plan is to rear bumper first, only because that will tell us where the lines should probably line up. Yeah. And then side skirts are off right now because that's the only way we can lift it. Because
we'll do rear bumper first, Jackson, and then we'll line up this how we want it.
Yeah, and then we're good. The rear bumper is held on by the most fasteners I've ever seen, and they're in the strangest places. There are bolts under the tail lights, in the wheel wells, and most strangely on the exhaust tips themselves. And even though I'm the one who put it on, I still can't remember where they all are. After floundering for quite a while though, it's finally ready to come off, which means we can reveal the rear bumper, which is insane. All right, this is allegedly the only piece we haven't seen. This is allegedly the rear bumper, but it's gigantic.
Oh my God.
It might be the hardest one to fit. Get a feel for it?
I think we have to take the exhaust off.
I think you're right. Like we expected, the exhaust goes straight into the bumper, and we have to remove the tips to even see if it'll slightly fit. With the tips removed, we can get a better idea of what we have to do to make it work. Tips are off, now we're gonna test fit one more time. We probably have to remove the rest of the exhaust. And the exhaust is something we're gonna need to figure out because this kit, that looks cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie. The exhaust is still hitting. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Oh, dude, it looks sick.
The exhaust is still hitting, for sure. So here's the deal. Let's put this bumper down and I'll explain the exhaust situation. We're running into a slight issue, which we kind of figured would happen, but we don't really have a solution yet. We're hitting on the exhaust because this kit does not really want you to run the exhaust this way. You can see it's supposed to go there, in that hole, which means we would have to cut a hole here.
Yeah.
Which I'll tell you why that wouldn't happen is because that might look simple, but it's about 2 feet of frame. The race car, that's not a problem, which is what this kit is modeled after. But on the actual street car, it is a problem. So we're gonna have to figure out what we do with the exhaust and where we run it. There's a way, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is yet. The rear bumper won't fit because of the exhaust, which is something that we're gonna have to figure out, but we don't have the time at this very moment, which means we'll also need to wait to put the rear fenders on, which is the scariest part of the whole thing, because we're literally gonna need to cut into the car, and there's no reversing that once it's done. We also, I think to solve this exhaust problem, we're gonna need to cut into the rear bumper, which is also equally scary. We have a lot of things we need to do to this today. The entire rear end ideally needs to go on, and we need to figure out what to do with the exhaust. We have some ideas now after giving it some thought that we'll go through shortly. But by far the most pressing thing is we're gonna need to cut the fenders today. We've kind of figured out that there is some space which should allow us to cut pretty smoothly, and we've bought a few tools that should aid us in this matter. That'll be a lot better. You guys in the comments have suggested stuff. You guys know we don't know what we're doing. We're learning as we go. That's how I learn. That's how Will learns. We learn from our mistakes and by trying. If you have a suggestion, we're always open to criticism and any help that we can get, because we certainly don't know what we're doing. And one of the things that we don't know what we're doing is with the exhaust. We've already taken the tips off. The exhaust, as some of you may know, is supposed to route on this kit here. There's a side
Let me show the people
exit.
why it's not possible. So this, this looks like you could cut a hole through it, right? You think, I could cut a hole through that. What you can't cut a hole through is all of that. There's no room for a hole there. So we're gonna have to round out the rear bumper. And I think we know how we're gonna do that. So we got a lot of stuff to take care of. So let's get into it.
Our first task today is to fit the rear bumper. As we found out in the last video, we need to remove even more of the exhaust to get it to mount properly. So unfortunately, we have to undo what we just did a few months ago and remove this beautiful exhaust. Thankfully, it's only held on by a few bolts and hangers, and after a little bit of brute force and ignorance, both sides are removed, and now we can finally test fit the rear bumper properly. All right, we've moved the exhaust. Time to test fit. This is our very much back and forth process of seeing if it fits right.
You're used to it by now.
Okay, so those two match up. That's nice.
Well, we're nowhere near my hole, but.
Oh yeah, they can match up. My thing's there.
My thing's there now.
Oh, my thing's there too. Okay. That looks like it fit.
Yeah, it does look like it fits. I'm just gonna need to re-drill. I'm gonna need to re-drill my hole.
With the bumper on, we can now test fit the new quarter panel and then mask it off and get ready to cut apart the factory one, which might actually be the scariest thing we've had to do on a car yet. Because I honestly don't really want to do it, Will's gonna do it. So if he messes up, I can blame it on him. If we make a mistake while cutting into the quarter panel, it could completely ruin this car. To replace a quarter panel, you basically have to cut up half of the car and weld a new one in, which is super difficult and super expensive. So Will has to take his time and make sure we do this right. And it actually looks like we might be. I'm not gonna lie, I'm rather impressed with Will's handiwork. This needs a little bit of sanding, but I'm hoping that that's all we need to take off. We could probably take off a little bit more before we start to run into any problems, but that's terrifying. It does need to be cleaned up slightly. So I guess we'll do that real quick, and then we'll do the other side. Yeah, no, it's really fun. This is great. With the ragged edge sanded down, we can now move over to the other side and mask it off for cutting. Now for you guys, this doesn't look super difficult, but from Will's perspective, it's a bit intimidating. Each fender has gone through multiple cutting wheels and is flinging hot metal everywhere. Through a bit of patience though, which isn't our strong suit, we can finally get the cut done and see how it came out.
Now, I'm not much of a professional at anything, but we did it.
That was a decent job.
Yeah, all things considered, for somebody with like 4 brain cells banging around in there, I'd say I did a good job.
Together we have at least 10.
That's enough to build an Aston Martin. If it's enough to buy one, it's enough to build one, right?
Hopefully Will is right about that, because now we have to fit up the rear bumper again and map out where we have to drill for the new quarter panel extensions. The quarter panels don't have any holes pre-drilled, so we have to decide where we want them to go and then mark up the holes to match on the car and the panel. If we don't get the holes perfect, the fenders will mount up incorrectly, and we really have only one shot at doing this right, so we have to make it count. To get rid of an extra variable that could cause us issues, we're removing the vinyl wrap from the quarter panels. And I know some of you guys like the blue, but we have a new color to do when the kit is on, so stay tuned for that. Now though, we're finally ready to drill the holes. So let's do it.
Officially unwrapped, and now it's drill time.
That's not, oh.
That goes somewhere.
Yeah, it definitely goes somewhere. Nothing like watching Jackson drill holes in our Aston Martin. I think I like this car more than him. So it hurts me a little bit, but I guess I also did cut parts of it yesterday. Oh my days, yeah, no, what if there's stuff? He was like, what if there's an airbag under there? I don't know, there could be. Now that you say it like that.
Oh, that's fiberglass.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, underneath there is some.
Oh my God.
What the heck, man?
Golly,
Alright.
that's scary.
Well, we got some holes.
Our plan is to attach the rear fenders the same way we did the front, by using rib nuts. To make that work, the holes have to be the exact right size. So we're gonna have to do a bit more drilling. If you don't know what rib nuts are, I just learned, they basically make it so you can add a threaded bolt hole to any surface. So with the holes drilled to the proper size, we can now use this special tool to insert the rib nuts. With the rib nuts installed, we can finally fit up the quarter panel. But immediately, we're noticing a big problem.
Because we're dumb and we don't know what we're doing, we ran into a slight issue here, and by a slight issue, well, it could be just a slight issue. The bolts, as you can see, they obviously don't really sit correctly. They come in at a weird angle. And that's a problem, because that will look horrible, and it won't hold even pressure on the fiberglass, which could crack it. But what we did just learn is there's something called a floating rib nut. What is it? It's called like a floating rib nut, and it allows for a bit of movement, so whatever we're screwing in can screw in straight, even if the hole itself isn't straight, if you get what I'm saying. So that's gonna be something we need to get, because otherwise this is gonna look horrible, and it's gonna not work. So we're gonna find those real quick, hopefully from a store nearby, and then we can fix the mistake that we've made. This is just the the only way forward. So we'll give it a shot. We have retrieved the hand riveter to fix the mistake that we made. The hand riveter should hopefully not apply too much pressure, cracking the fiberglass. We'll hopefully be able to modulate pressure, ideally. And the first step in fixing our mistake is now we have to drill out our rib nuts that we so carefully put in. So yeah, you know, you make mistakes here and there.
Nice. That's gone forever though.
Don't
Hot,
do that.
hot.
So hot. Wow. That was hot.
With Will's custom drill bit cooling method, we can now drill the rest of the rib nuts out. And now we can try to use our new hand riveter to attach the panel directly to the car with regular rivets this time.
All right.
We'll figure out if we're at the right angle or not, right?
That didn't work. That doesn't work. Now.
You need the rib nuts that actually have movement to them. Dilemma. We thought the rivet would work. The holes are too big, and now we've just riveted to the fiberglass itself. That's chill, but nothing a cutting wheel can't handle. The problem is, now we don't know how to put this on this with the holes that we have. This is slightly terrifying, and I'm trying not to, I'm pretending I'm not scared, but I'm a little scared.
While I cut out the rivet, Will's going to the hardware store to see if he can find another solution. And luckily for us, I think he did. So let's check it out. Will got lucky, and he found a different kind of rivet made of polycarbonate that could be used to attach the fenders along with a bit of double-sided tape. The problem with the metal rivets is that they weren't long enough, but the poly ones are longer and spread wider, giving them better grip. So I think this is a good final solution. Using our air riveter, everything seems to be going well, and with the first side mounted, we can move on to the other side. We're following the same process, but with our knowledge from the driver's side, we can get it done much faster now. The drilling's going smoothly, and now we can use the same type of rivets as the other side, and after hours and hours of trial and error, the hardest part of the body kit installation is almost done, which is huge, because we're running out of time. We have just 1 day left before we need to get the car wrapped. We have both fenders actually on, as you can see, but there is some fitment problems. However, that is to be expected. Fiberglass, allegedly, you can heat up and then tape into place, and it should, once the tape is off and it's cooled, stay in that form. So this problem here that you can see, that can be resolved by a little tape, heating it up, and then we can do the final bolting of the rear bumper, and it should all line up. We're not experts here. This is not gonna be perfect, but we're trying to get it as close to perfect as we can with the tools that we have. So if there was a professional doing this, it would probably be a whole lot better, but so far I think it's going as we could have hoped for, maybe with a few small issues, but we're figuring it out. So we're gonna heat this up, tape it down like Will's doing now, and hopefully that fixes it. With the fenders taped in place as best we can, we now need to get started on the final touches before the car goes off to wrap. Because we're running out of time, we're starting by riv nutting the fenders to the side skirts. This will make them way more rigid because right now they're super floppy. With that done, we can unwrap the doors and then bolt up the rear bumper in its final resting place. One last thing we need to take care of as soon as possible is making sure it doesn't rust. Because we cut the fenders, we expose some of the metal on the body to the elements. If we didn't do anything about that, we could end up with some serious corrosion issues. So to remedy that, I'm masking off the area around the fenders, and I'm gonna add some spray paint and caulk to protect these surfaces from the elements. After a few layers of paint and caulking, it's finally complete, enough to where we can wrap it properly. At least, that's what I think. We have somehow been able to get the entire body kit on before the car needs to go into wrap. We have a very special surprise for the wrap, which you will see very soon, and we're gonna show that. But before we do that, we wanna take this car outside and just get a look at it, see what the kit looks like before we get all the stuff done. And also, if you're wondering about all the little stuff, this kit is not perfect. We still have a lot of little things to tweak, which we gotta tweak after the wrap because there's some stuff that we can't do until the wrap is finished. And also, the wrap is a bit time sensitive and the other stuff is not. But this kit, it's not perfect yet. I know that, so hold off on the comments for right now. And then we're gonna try to fix all of the little stuff after the fact, such as the rest of the bolts that hold on the rear bumper. There's a lot more holes we can drill out to make that very secure. I have done riv nuts all across this. They're not all bolted in yet because they might need to take the side skirts off to wrap them. And of course, two things, the hood, we're gonna try to fix that with a little heat and tape and also move the bump stop so it doesn't do that stuff. Yeah, that's really good. That's good stuff. And the most important thing is we're gonna build, after it gets wrapped, we're going to build an entire under tray that runs all the way to the front splitter and all the way back to the side of the fender so that none of that stuff moves around and it's definitely solid because we really, really want the kit to be good and we want it to be usable actually as a car and drive on the highway at speed without things falling off. And yes, me and Will haven't done this stuff before and it's a learning curve and we're probably not doing everything perfectly. That's the thing. We got to learn by doing, but we can certainly fix the mistakes that we make and we're going to need to because I'm sure there's plenty of them. So we're going to try to get this thing as perfect as possible. If you have any suggestions or you see anything that feels a little weird and we must be missing it, please.
There are a lot of things for sure, but wrap's gonna be the biggest transformation of all. We're gonna finally get to see what it looks like all in one color because it's really hard to envision what's happening with the car.
With the car good to go, we loaded it up on a tow truck, and even though it wasn't moving under its own power, we got to see what the kit looks like in the real world for the first time, which is pretty cool. It definitely needs wrap though, so let's get that taken care of.
Right, we are here at the Q Wrap Studio. We made it with the Aston, and it's finally gonna actually start looking like a race car because right now it kind of looks kind of terrible, to be honest with you. So we wrapped the car the first time, and if you saw it, it wasn't very good. So we wanted to actually have professionals do it this time. So we brought it to Q Car Care, and if you guys don't know who they are, we're gonna talk more about that soon, but they did a really good job wrapping our 911, and now they're gonna make this look like an actual race car rather than a bunch of blobby panels on some garbage, because that's what it looks like now. So in a second, we're gonna show you guys what colors we're doing, get started on the wrap, so that way we can finish it up hopefully in the next couple of days, get the new wheels on, get the lowering springs on, and make it pretty much perfect, figure out the exhaust. We still have a lot of stuff left to do, but let's get it wrapped. Let's show you guys the color because I think you guys are gonna really like the color. Before we do anything, we have to prep the car. Unlike a regular car, wrapping and prepping the Aston with the body kit is gonna be different and way more difficult, which is why we took it to Q. We have to get as much of the contamination off of the painted surfaces as possible without absolutely soaking the fiberglass. So Devin, our friend from Q, is taking detail spray and a clay bar to clean the body. To prep the fiberglass, we're using rubbing alcohol to hopefully promote adhesion as best as possible, and with every panel covered, we're finally ready to wrap. We have the car fully prepped and pretty much ready for wrap, and now we get to do the most fun part of all of this and show you guys the base color. And I'm saying base color because there's gonna be a lot more to this wrap than just a color, but I think the base color is the coolest part. So we're unwrapping it right now, and then we get to see what this car is gonna start to look like, which is a little bit exciting. And I know you guys are gonna comment, the fitment isn't perfect. We know, we're well aware, we are not body shop people, but the color is gonna bring it all together hopefully, and we'll see what the car actually is starting to look like as a real car. But let's check out the color first. 3, 2, 1. All right, here is the color, and I'm sure a lot of you probably guessed this. You're not gonna be able to see it too well through this, but it's green. It's an Aston Martin. We had to do green. Me and Jackson both love green cars, and this is gonna look super sick, so let's not wait anymore, and let's actually start getting it on the car and seeing what everything looks like. But this color is gonna be so sick. Normally a V8 Vantage isn't super difficult to wrap, but this car with this kit is quite the opposite. The wide fenders, unique curves, vents, and questionably installed panels all make this car very challenging to deal with, which is exactly why we brought it to Q. If you don't know about Q Car Care already, we chose Q for a very good reason. Q is more than just a detail shop. It's a team of car enthusiasts and perfectionists. Before Captain Crankshaft, I worked with Q for nearly a decade. They're always working on the most insane cars and truly might be the only people up for this job. If you want to see more about Q, they're starting a YouTube channel of their own, and they're doing a video with the Aston, so go subscribe to them, the link's below. For now though, we have to keep plugging away on the Aston because this is a tricky one. Now for the Aston, we wanted to do something super special. So we're not just doing a simple color. This car is going to be designed to look like the actual Aston Martin factory race cars with their green and yellow paint scheme. We're going to be doing some really cool stickers for our favorite people we've worked with on this car, and also for our new company, which is called Luft. We're going to tell you guys a lot more about that later, but for now, you're going to have to wait. It's going to be a main part of this livery, so bear with us. And if you want to be the first to know about it, head over to luftsense.com for more information. All the stickers are going to be in this beautiful green color. And while Devin keeps wrapping away on the car, I'm going to start cutting them out and installing them. We have a lot of cool ideas on how we can make this car look like a special one-of-one race car, because for us, that's kind of what it is. We wanted to make sure that this stands out and that we're doing this body kit the justice that it deserves. And to be honest, it's coming out absolutely amazing so far. The car is really starting to come together, but we are running out of time. The wrap's almost done, which is good, and hopefully it'll be done today, but we still have to lower the car, we still have to figure out the exhaust, we still have to put on new wheels, we still have to do a lot of things for aerodynamic efficiency on this thing, so we have a lot left to do. We want to finish the wrap up today. Devin's been working on getting the color down. I've been doing some stickers, and everyone's got to put their best foot forward today if we want to finish it, so let's get to it. With our deadline in mind, we're gonna just keep pushing to get this car done as soon as possible. We still have a lot of things left to do, like I said. So with the wrap almost done, we can start test fitting our wheels, figuring out how big the spacers we're gonna need are gonna be, because we're gonna have to use spacers. These wheels are absolutely amazing, but we ordered them before we ordered the body kit because, well, it was kind of a last minute decision. They're from our friends at Forge Club. They're probably the most beautiful wheels I've ever seen, and luckily they helped us out. They were gonna give us very aggressive stock body fitment, so the spacers we are gonna need shouldn't be too big. And honestly, these wheels are stunning, so I'm just excited to get them on the car.
Now we can get the car back to our shop and start working on the final touches, because honestly, it's turning out to being one of the most insane Aston Martins on the internet, like we promised, and I'm super happy with it. Thanks so much again to Q Car Care. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible, so make sure you guys go check out their YouTube channel. And if you're in the Boston area and you need anything like PPF, ceramic coatings, vinyl wrap, and more done to your car, definitely reach out to them because they are literally the best. So, let's get over to Jackson at the shop and let's finish up the Aston, because I think you guys are as excited as us to see it done.
The Aston looks absolutely crazy. Q did an amazing job. It made the body kit, which I was worried might not look good, look way better than I thought it would. And it's now back at the shop, but we are not done yet. We still have a lot of work to do to make this all function correctly. And the first thing I need to address is there is a big squeak coming from one of the wheels. I don't know what it is, and we still need to put spacers on. And we also have a lot of other random stuff that needs to get done. So
squeak is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I drove it back yesterday and it was like the whole entire time.
He's not lying.
Yeah,
it was that bad.
Yeah.
So it looks insane. Look at this thing. It looks like a real race car, but we still have a lot to do, such as that's not super on there, but I have a solution. But first things first, let's figure out what the squeak is. I'm worried the fiberglass is gonna crack, but I think we can jack it from the side skirts because there's a section that is very stiff. It's not on the fiberglass fully, by the way. It's just a thin part of the fiberglass that's then on the frame. I think this will be fine, but I'm still a little nervous.
Oh yeah, undo that. Flexing the side skirt.
Actually, I'm just gonna take the side skirts off because I don't want to break the brand new wrapped side skirts. That would be very bad, and I would be very sad, and I would cry, and Will would cry, and it would be bad.
I would definitely cry.
Oh my God.
My brain.
That hurt my ears, genuinely.
So that we need to fix. That's kind of important. It's not great.
That was horrific. That was horrible.
The noise is coming from a stuck handbrake. So to temporarily fix the problem, I'm just gonna remove it. With that done on both sides, it should be good to roll. I thought I fixed it. I did. After a bit more investigation, it turns out that the noise is coming from a dust shield rubbing on the brake rotor. So with a bit of custom clearancing, now we can put the wheels back on and start to tackle the next problem. The next problem is an interesting one. This is the splitter here, and it's pretty solid, but as you can see, you can clearly move it, which is not ideal. We want to be able to drive on the highway at speed and not have the fiberglass crack, and we'd like for that to be pretty sturdy. But I found a solution to that problem. This is sign making material that is 2 pieces of aluminum sandwiching something else, and it's light. And it's incredibly strong. Like you can flex it, but you really can't break it or bend it in half. And if we bolt it up a bunch of times, I think it will be strong enough. So now I need to make a stencil of the entire front end and make that. Easier said than done, but it'll be cool. And it will definitely work. And that will be a nice piece that makes this kit not only look good, but actually function well. Before we do any intricate details, we're starting by measuring and cutting out the vague shape we need. I'm the furthest thing from an aerodynamics expert, but we're gonna try to make this as functional as possible so we can actually bolt it to the chassis of the car. With it cut out, we can now trace the shape of the front lip onto it and then cut that out as well. With the lip cut out, we can start to mount it to the car. We're bolting it directly to the subframe and then using double-sided tape to get it to line up to the lip. With that done, we can add the final piece to make this as race car and functional as possible. The splitter rods. We're attaching them directly to the metal in the front bumper and the splitter itself. And hopefully that's enough to make everything sturdy and not fly off at speed. This somehow is functioning incredibly well. It's actually working, which when I do something and Will does something is always shocking. It's got these supports, and honestly you can now lay into it and it moves the entire car. But what I need to still fix is this. You see this? Some of that is reduced by bolting it to the side skirt, and the side skirts aren't on right now, but to really make sure that doesn't go anywhere, I made this. Might not look like much, but it's gonna bolt underneath the sides, or underneath the fender, and then all the way over to this here bolt hole, and should do exactly what that front splitter support does, and keep it from moving, and keep it on the car, where it should be. So, let me do that real quick. With those pieces bolted up, the car is basically done, which to me is honestly insane. Since we started this channel, our goal has been to push ourselves further and further and make our cars cooler and cooler. And this project has definitely done just that. Transforming this once forgotten V8 Vantage into something that genuinely takes my breath away every time I look at it has truly been a dream come true. And although it wasn't easy, and we ran into a ton of issues, the fact that we're able to take a beat up, non-running Aston Martin and a body kit from Alibaba and make something spectacular from it has been one of the coolest things I've ever done. So without further ado, here it is. The Captain Crankshaft Abandoned Alibaba Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT3. So yeah, somehow our abandoned Aston Martin from New York has turned into this race car for the street. I feel like my boyhood dream is complete. I have a real race car, or a real fake race car. I actually didn't even think it would look this good. Even just when we were putting the body panels on, I was scared that nothing was gonna work and it was probably gonna fail. But somehow it came out even better than I would have ever expected, mostly thanks to Q. But me and Will did some good work here. There's still a couple little things to sort out, but look at this thing. And we have a lot more projects coming. Now we're gonna have to find a way to top this. So subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And hopefully we can keep building cool stuff just like that. Subscribe, please. Thank you.